How about now? How you hear me now?
That sounds pretty good.
Okay. So does it seem like there's anything at all wrong with it right now, or does it seem like it's like better than it was before?
Seems fine.
Seems fine. Okay.
Now I can't hear sound.
Sound.
Going on here. Well, yeah, let me restart my Discord.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
How are you looking?
올림픽,
Mm.
월드컵 다 해도 이 결승전이 가지고 있는 의미 굉장히 크잖아요.
그렇죠. 사실
네.
이제 뭐 물론 이제 여러 가지 여건상 전반기와 후반기에 약간 결승이 또 같은 팀이 될 수도 있겠다라고 생각을
Okay. So tell me about what happened yesterday, man, and I'll just see how your voice is doing.
Well, yesterday, I had like only like a couple hours sleep. Went the entire day. Thought I was okay. Kind of like was on FaceTime with the girlfriend, and she'd just gone to sleep and just chilling, vibing. And then was like, I put my alarm on for like just before when we were supposed to cast, and then like went to sleep and like thought I'll be okay. I knew if I fell asleep it wouldn't be a big issue, but for whatever reason, I slept through the alarm, and my other phone died because it didn't get put onto charge when I went to sleep, so that died as well. So when I woke up, that phone was dead. So it's a bit of a bit of an unfortunate chain of
Oh, man.
events.
All right, your voice sounds good.
Voice sounds good.
We can go with this.
Shut my unfortunate chain of events.
It sounds like
What?
you have like a noise gate or something like that that cuts off the end of your voice. when
Really?
you
But
like right at
we
the end of when you say something short.
how? Okay, and is it the same right this second?
Right now, no, but like when you poke in with like
Test.
a really,
Really?
it just goes like "Ugh."
Really? Test. Really?
Funny.
Is it doing it still?
Yeah, it's still doing it.
So do you think there's something wrong with the filters then?
Yeah. Or maybe there's something wrong with the filter. Did you change anything or?
Nope. I didn't change nothing. No.
Mhm.
Compression. Suppression. Well, that's bad. But we didn't have that issue last time, so I don't know why all of a sudden it would have an issue.
Oh, it's strange. I
you
think
know?
like if you just talk in your full voice
Yeah.
and you don't, if you're just saying, it seems to only happen when you're only saying one or two words. But if you're talking like you would regularly for casting, you're
Right.
taking your turn, like I don't think it's gonna make a difference.
So
But
it's
we'll
only.
see.
So it's only doing. I wonder if it's the push to talk that's also helping it do that or not. Because I'm using push to talk. I'm not sure if I should put a bigger noise delay on or not.
Yeah, maybe you should change the push to talk noise delay. That makes sense.
But I always use push to talk though. It should be fine. I was wondering if that was also making it. Really? Test. Test. How's that?
Just cut off again. Yeah.
Test. Test. Really? Really? Same or not?
The second really cut off.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's the push to talk delay. Like, I don't think so. I think it must be something weird with the noise gate on the filter because I'm speaking short suddenly. Well, I'm hoping I won't need to give you any one-word answers.
Yeah, hopefully not.
But it sounds good generally.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Okay. Okay.
Glad I was able to get a decent internet connection here in Thailand.
Yeah, that's good. How have you been enjoying it, man?
It's been all right. It's been pretty rainy the last few days,
Yeah.
so it kind of defeats the purpose. It's supposed to be at the beach,
Yeah, it's a bit of a bummer.
But all the food is really, really good and cheap.
I bet. Like one of my favorite dishes in the world is Thai red curry. I love that dish. It's so good.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, shit's amazing.
I got a Airbnb here. Let me see how much it is in British pounds. So insane. Insanely cheap.
Yeah, I bet it's really cheap right now to be over in Thailand.
The prices have gone up a tiny bit since I was here last time, but it's still so reasonable. It's 14 British pounds per night.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap.
Pretty crazy. And like 30-minute massage is like 7 British pounds. Or no, an hour, sorry. An hour.
An hour?
An hour massage.
God damn, Sam.
Yeah.
Could live like a king over there.
Yeah. 6.7 British pounds for an hour massage.
It's pretty good.
and you can get a really good meal for 2 people for about the same price.
I mean, I might have to go
Like
sometime.
red curry is at the shop down the street, 2.7 British pounds.
Nice. Do they have like? Did you try it? Have you like had any red curry?
Oh yeah, I've had red curry, green curry, massaman curry, Penang curry, had all the curry.
Probably pretty good,
Pad
right?
Thai, fried rice, yeah, all the good stuff.
I want red curry with jasmine rice.
I don't know what kind of, I haven't heard any like different types of rice here. I think they just have like Thai rice, like local
Yeah.
rice.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Hang in there, big boy.
I'm just chunking down some tea here. A little bit of Yellow Label.
Do you know, I had a mug of coffee, and it's like, I don't usually do that. I don't usually drink coffee, but I decided to neck some coffee for this cast just because I've not been having much sleep lately.
It's funny. You're drinking coffee, I'm drinking tea.
Yeah, it's
I
so
just
backwards.
didn't have any coffee here.
It's so backwards, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll speak with the British accent today.
Okay.
Okay, you go American, all right?
Yeah, but if I go American, it's gonna be like, I bet that Wi-Fi beam is bouncing up the moon or something.
Straight to the south.
Straight to the south. That's why the ladies like me, Sam.
Oh, you just go right down.
Yeah, right south
I
to
see.
the border. Yeah.
I understand. Here's our lineup, by the way, so we can talk about it. You get a little
Okay.
preview here.
Okay. Ooh. Denzi versus Tosca. Well, Denzi's gonna get like manhandled, but probably will try some kind of cheese, like either some kind of ling all in or lurker timing, or it's possible she'll go for just some sort of like 2H 3H mural in as well. But I'm not sure if she's even gonna have the mechanics to beat Tosco in that kind of game. So I wonder if she's gonna do some kind of crazy cheese.
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility.
Sakshi versus YSC, I'm not too sure about that game. Monk versus Zealot, I actually really want to see. Hero versus Queen is like goes without saying. Sharp versus Barracks will actually be a pretty good TBT. I think Sharp will get the better of Barracks, but Barracks has been playing pretty good recently, so maybe he'll still be a contender. Honey and JB?
Yeah, it's a fun game. Should be a fun game.
What do you think about Honey and JB?
Shit, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I
Honey
don't
and
know.
JB.
I mean, the coin flip as far as I'm concerned. I don't know.
I imagine it'll be a Hydra bust.
Yeah, on Silphid probably. Although to be fair, like Silphid's not a very good map for the Zerg statistically, I don't think. So I think Hydra bust would be probably a good way to go. I think that's right. That's correct, right? Silphid's not so good for CVP.
Tough. It is tough. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be an interesting match on Invader ZVZ.
Yeah.
Queen versus Hero.
Yeah.
Too bad we didn't get effort in this season.
Oh, that's so
I remember that. Wasn't that Hero versus Effort in this past ASL that went to Ultra?
Probably.
I was on Apocalypse.
Those are the two caliber of players that I would say are most likely for a super late game ZVZ. by the way, because like they're both pretty brainy, talented players.
Yeah, that was a great game. I don't even remember who won that one. It was so good.
Effort's a special Zerg, man. He was like one of the only Zergs that made Flash look silly quite a few times. You know what I mean? There was a time where like Flash was really dominant, and Effort was like one of the only people around that was still slapping Flash around when everyone else was struggling against him. I would argue that Effort single-handedly convinced Flash to stop playing 1-1-1.
Really?
Yeah,
because he just bashed him.
Yeah, because he kept countering it with 2-hatchling with Burrow and like just out mechanicked Flash. Yeah, and like really took advantage of the 1-1-1 build.
See if I have anything else to say about this. Zealot versus Mong. My brain is just booting up right now, but we should be okay.
Saiyan.exe is loading. So at least you got to have a warm-up yesterday. I didn't.
I also accidentally made today's graphics yesterday first, and then I was like, oh shit, this is the wrong graphics. So then I had to make the other graphics. So I already had all of these done. I didn't have to do it last night, which is nice.
Nice.
It's all ready. But now I don't really remember what I did, so I have to look at it again.
Did you just burp?
Okay. Yeah.
That's really funny. I just muted to burp, like literally just a second ago, and then you burped just after me. Synchronicity, right?
We're on the same. We're on the same team for sure.
You're on the same burp length.
All right. Let's go ahead and get started. I'll chop it up.
Chop it up
because it'll probably be rough, but. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the KCM Team Tournament, Day 16. We are here in the finals of the second half with Team Queen versus Team Hero. These two teams have battled through many, many difficult opponents and have met here in the finals for this last best of 9 series. It's going to be a blast, so let's take a look at the lineup. So we've got a lot of great matches here. Shun, what's your impression of this lineup so far?
Pretty excited, to be honest, saying, especially the likes of Zealot versus Mong. Desi versus Tosco, I think, will be a little bit one-sided, going in Tosco's favor, understandably, but Queen versus Hero, I have no idea who's going to win the ZVZ on that, and Sharp versus Barracks, I think it's slightly Sharp favored, but Barracks have been playing pretty good recently, so anything could happen with that. So overall, I would say this is a pretty even team, so I'm looking forward to at least 4 of these matches.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the team leaders going head-to-head here. ZVZ has become such a fun match to watch. Of course, these other matches have been prepared for. I think that Zealot probably stands a pretty good chance of pulling the wool over Mong's eyes on La Campanea. He must have some sort of good strategy here. That is a very difficult map for Zerg players right now, especially against a player like Mong, who's so good at going for mech play. You can control the middle of the map and just make it so hard for Zerg there. Shelling that third base, the pocket third, I don't think is a good choice to take in that matchup anymore. YSC versus Saxer and Dark Origin should be fun as well. Just a huge, just an amazing lineup. And that last TVT should be really, really fun. I'm super looking forward to how Barracks performs here.
Absolutely, saying he's been playing pretty amazingly recently. And yeah, I have no idea what's going to happen between Queen and Hero. I mean, they're both such stellar players, and ZVZ is so crazy these days. I'm excited to see what's going to happen between those two. I really have no idea about JB versus Hani. That's kind of a coin flip as far as I'm concerned. A little bit the same feeling about YSC and Saxry. I'm not too sure how these two players will stack up against each other, but I feel a lot more confident about where the rest of the games are going to go, and I'm wanting to get right into it.
Rats.
What?
Hold on, I'll finish it, but then I'll tell you. All right, we're gonna head on into game number 1. Let's get it started.
What?
I'm just realizing that maybe
What?
did I actually check to make sure that this was the right maps? Yeah, I think this is the right maps.
Oh, you thought
And
maybe
then it
you
was
messed up the
okay.
maps?
Dark Origin. I thought maybe I messed up the maps because remember I didn't know, or I used the wrong I made the graphics for the
Right.
wrong video,
Right.
and then I redid it, right.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I wasn't sure, but I think I got it right here. Yeah, it's Neo Sylphid, then Dark Origin. So at least I got the first 2 correct.
Yeah, it looks like
Here, hold on.
it looks like JB's split's good and optimization of minerals is pretty good. So at least there's that.
All right. Shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
1 second. Let me check that recording. Make sure your voice came through.
Go for it.
It looks good.
Nice.
One second. Let me just delete a few videos.
Making room on your hard drive.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how quickly it fills up.
Oh, I wouldn't.
You're
I don't think I would be surprised. I imagine with the amount of editing and rendering you do, I imagine it goes pretty quickly.
Yeah, especially when you're doing multiple takes.
I imagine so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, have you got an NVMe like for your laptop? I can't remember if you've got an NVMe hard drive on it or not.
Yeah, I got one.
Yeah,
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's really good.
My computer gets so hot though. Jesus.
I'm
I
not
don't know
surprised
how
at
to
the
cool
amount
it
of
down sometimes.
rendering and shit you do.
Even just recording on OBS seems to really like heat it up. Yeah. Not sure what's going on, but hopefully it hangs in there. I don't care if it gets hot as long as it keeps working.
Right. Well, just so you know, modern tech can get pretty hot without failing. Like it used to be like you'd get to a certain threshold of temperature and like you'd get failures and like eventually the tech would just like degrade really quickly over time and like you'd just be fucked. But modern tech's actually pretty good. Like you can sustain pretty high temperatures for quite it's just like 12, 24 months of seriously high temperatures and still not really degrade too much. So yeah, you might be okay. Don't just not too hot.
Yeah. The thing is, like, I don't like to have the main fan on. Like, I can turn the fan on, but maybe you can hear it. Like, listen. Can you hear that?
Yeah, yeah. So that's why then. So your heat sinks are probably working as intended, but without that extra fan, you're not blowing the heat away fast enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as long as I'm recording, I always turn that off, and then it gets really hot, and then I turn them on after done recording.
I'm wondering if there's like some kind of like external fan you can get to like put it on that's more quiet, that just blows it a little bit to like keep it cool enough so it's running chill but not loud enough to be intrusive. I don't know. You can't get like exterior shit. You can maybe put it on to keep it cool. I don't know. It's possible.
Yeah, I bought in Japan. I bought like a cooling pad, and it just sits on it, and it doesn't make any noise. It doesn't really cool it that much. I mean, it does something, but you know, it's not like having a fan inside the computer blowing out the hot area. You know what I mean? It's not quite as powerful.
Not much is going to compare to that. No.
All right. Okay. We good? Let's go.
We good.
All right, we're hopping into game number 1 here. Hani in the bottom right, JB in the top center for Neo Sylphid. Glad to have you here, Shun.
Yeah, it's good to be here. And we got a Hani representing Team Hero, and got our other player, JB, representing Team Queen, at the 12 o'clock position. And we were just talking before saying that we were thinking about maybe a Hydra bus was in order here for JB.
It seems really popular with the tier 2 Zerg players here for the ladies squad. Pretty much all the PVZs we've seen, I think aside from one, have at least begun the game with a Hydra bust. Whether it's ended with that or not, different story. Some players have been able to hold it off and scout it out pretty well. We'll see if Hani does the same here. She's got her probe heading towards the 12 o'clock. She's not going to be able to block this hatchery, which is a big win here for JB.
Yeah, it's a nice little early victory here for JB going forward. Not going to get that delayed and not really going to have too many options of counterplay. Could go for a cannon rush, but really on Sylphid, a cannon rush isn't just that effective at all, so probably won't be seeing that either. So yeah, nice little early win for JB. Nothing too significant, but a pretty sizable lead. Is throwing down the gas before pool as well. Actually wants to get a really fast link speed timing by the seams of it, and the probe actually didn't scout the timing of the gas or the pool yet, so I don't think Hani will have any idea exactly of the timings unless she clicks on this pool. Now I think she should be able to figure it out now that the gas is finished though, and sees the pool not quite fully morphed yet. Should be able to kind of glean from that the exact timings.
I wonder if she really realizes what's going on here, because that was an incredibly early gas. I mean, if you see the gas before the third hatchery goes down, that's already going to give you quite a bit of information, but this was a really fast gas. She's going to have more than 100 by the time this pool is done. Actually, might be able to morph the layer and the start the upgrade at the same time here. So there's going to be some serious aggression coming out of JB. Yeah, there's the layer, and we're going to have that speed in just 2 more seconds. There it is.
Yeah, I'm wondering if maybe JB picked this build up from someone like Zealot and wants to put on a lot of pressure and try and try and like make up for the fact that this is not really the best of maps for Zerg and versus Protoss, and yeah, statistically speaking on this map, not the best. So maybe going for a kind of really hyper-aggressive tech build like this is just a way to kind of throw Hani off their game just a little bit and frustrate her enough to kind of get a technical win here. And is doing a good job of trying to catch this probe scout, actually, and almost got the full surround on that. Only just a few hit points left on that probe. Going to be able to take that out in just a few seconds now. So denying that scout's also going to be key, because now Hani needs to know exactly how many lings are being made. So this could be 6 lings, or it could be like 12 or like 18. She doesn't know exactly what's coming right now. So a little bit of a unsafe situation. She's not pulling any probes or anything as well, saying she could just lose this cannon.
Yeah, this is typical for, tier 2 lower level players. They don't know all of these timings. They don't know all these situations.
And if you play just slightly outside of their wheelhouse, they're bound to make a mistake. She's jumping on top of the cannon here. Gonna pick that off real nice and easy. JB gets that cannon. More Lings are here, but they haven't been sent across the map. We really need to get that rally going. The Spire has been dropped here, and this is already an amazing situation for JB, but she's got to send these extra Lings, Shun, or she's just going to let this cannon finish here at the front.
Yeah, I mean, they have link speed though, so the links will get there before the cannon is morphed. So she should be able to get there in time to still finish off Hani as long as she stays on top of her micro. Doing a good job of catching that Zealot really low on hit points. Finally now going to try and get on top of this cannon, but it is almost finished. She hasn't yet come into the additional link. She's getting on top of this cannon right now, only just now warping in. Does get a pretty good run by, but has that cannon not going to have to worry about killing it if she can just get into the main base and start doing a lot of damage there instead. Needs to be careful not to lose the links in the mineral line to the probe drill, but as long as she can just attack from the north here and get a good surround of this cannon like she's doing now, she could just finish the game here. Saying she's doing so much damage to Harley's economy right now just by forcing so many probes along, and now she can come in to natural expansion with additional links and finish her off there too.
Yeah, she's going to get this cannon, no problem. She's managed to kill the Cybernetics core, and then she's going to kill the gateways. So Corsairs are a million miles away at this point. She's going to have to defend purely with cannon, and here comes the rest of those links. They're going to get this cannon, and that should be GG here. All she needs to do is focus down these Zealots and then get the pylon, and there's no way for Hani to recover. GG, a quick Ling all-in here to put Team Queen on the board. Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Shun. That may have been Zealot inspired.
그렇죠. 마지막에 남아서 김명훈 팀에 들어갔던 선수인데 좀 것 같습니다.
Okay.
이건 천적급인데.
그렇죠. 이 정도면
못 이기는 거의 수준의
네.
전적 데이터로는 그런데.
네.
근데 윤수철 선수 하면은 저그전에서 한 방이 있는 선수거든요.
네.
그래서 저 정도의 어떤 체감까지는 와닿지 않는데 예, 전적은 생각보다 많이.
Well, Team Queen comes out the gates with a rush build there. Are they going to continue that trend with YSC versus Saxory? We've got the pylon being thrown down here in the natural, and an immediate scout here. So this actually looks more like a forge opener here for YSC.
Yeah, usually the probe moving out to scout right away with the pylon is indicative of a forge fast expand. There can be some variations where you do a little bit of weird scout timing where you want to check for like the overlord and then go back again and make with the gateway, but usually this indicates a forge fast expand. It's actually going to be going for a little bit of a faster pull timing here, so not going to be going for the 11 hatch, which would have been blocked by this probe. The probe went the long way around, and both the overlord went to check for that probe coming in, but also didn't go for the 11 hatch anyway, so no shenanigans early game going to be successful for YSC, and Saxory is going to be playing ultra safe. I think actually Saxory maybe does like to go 11 hatch in these situations sometimes, and maybe YSC was trying to meta game a little bit there.
Right, maybe YSC was thinking about throwing down a Nexus first here, but instead going to drop that forge, seeing the pool here nearly complete in the main, and oh, look at this, actually going to get that hatchery down, so no block from YSC. Looks like he was a little bit busy mining some minerals here in the main, ends up not getting that block, but he will have his Nexus here on the way back at home, and his timings look pretty on par here to where he's going to be able to block any Lings coming across the map. Looks like Saxory realizes that, and he's just going to build drones and a single set of Lings to push this probe away.
Yeah, basically the rule of thumb is as long as the cannon is on the way before the Lings have left the egg, then you should be fine with most rush distances on maps. Unless there's an exceptionally short rush distance, which doesn't really exist anymore, then yeah, you're pretty much fine as long as the Lings are not on the way before the cannon's already started. So usually you'll be fine in most situations like that, as long as you can keep an eye on when those Lings are coming out of the eggs, or at least know the timing of the pool. So why is he not going to be caught off guard by anything thus far? It looks like we have a very standard game going into these 3 hatcheries, but could be seeing a little bit of a delayed fake Hydra bust maybe into a bit more of an aggressive style from Saxory, but he's not usually of that ilk. He's more of like the macro eco-centric player. So I don't think we'll see necessarily a Hydra bust here. So
Yeah, it's an interesting point. Saxery is a very macro-centric player, and YSC has managed to get him on this map, Dark Origin, which doesn't really lead into a great late game. There's not a huge amount of maps. We don't have a third and fourth spawn location where you can really get into your macro and spread all over the map. Here it's like you have to control the center, and you've got a couple of outlying bases to potentially take in the late game, but it would be shocking to me if we got beyond 4 or 5 bases on this map. And there's that Hydralisk Den, but a layer on the way here as well.
Yeah, I wonder if he threw down the Hydra Den just because he caught the Probe Scout, and there's no way that the Probe Scout can confirm that now. So I wonder if that was more of a reactionary Hydra Den, or if he was planning on doing it either way. But nonetheless, we do see a nice catch on this Zealot in the middle, going to be trying to get as much of the hull points down as possible without losing any Zerglings. Pretty good play from Saxery to get that Zealot basically down to half HP without losing a single Zergling. So that's a nice little small victory for him going forward as well. Will now enable him to safely drone up if he so chooses and throw down a Spire. And we might not see that though.
It looks like he's going to just pump drones here for now. Will he get to 973 and start to put on that pressure? I'm going to see here in a few moments. Stargate is now done. We have that Corsair in production, but a second gas here. Very interesting with the Hydro Den right in the second gas. Is this going to be a lurker build? What am I looking at here? Usually with a lurker build, you actually go for a quicker upgrade for your links, because if you're going to be skipping your Hydralisk upgrades, you really do need something extra to help fight a Zealot timing that may be coming across the map. But I don't see an evolution chamber here. I see Hydras being made, and not much else than that. Maybe he just wants to go for a direct contain here. The Hydralisk speed is going to finish, but what upgrade is being produced right now? We don't have that information because this is not a replay. This is live from KCM. Well, we're not watching it live, but KCM was watching it live. And he doesn't know at this point. There's quite a few drones here. It's not a 973, but there is some sort of interesting tech coming here out of YSC, and we're about to find out what that is. Oh, this Overlord just about goes down, but it does manage to survive, so this push can continue, luckily for Saxery.
Do you think, I thought for a second he was going to do some sort of crazy elevator into the main base and like squeeze out like a couple of speed Hydras into the main base to bypass the cannons and try and get on top of the production in a very strange way, but I'm not so sure about that now.
Did his Overlords have speed? I felt like that moved pretty quickly.
I think, yeah, speed just finished, I think. I don't know.
Overload speed, yeah, there it is. Okay, he's got Overlord speed. Is he going for a drop? Maybe we're going to see a drop play.
It'd be really interesting to see if he does go for drop play, because it's so unorthodox for someone like Saxery to do a build like this. I'd be really curious to see if he does go for something like that, or if he's just trying to really confuse YSC right now and try and make him think.
We got lurkers. Okay, so we are going to be doing that contain play. And whoever controls the middle on this map, like I said before, it is going to be the victor. If you can hold that that area here right in front of the natural or just over the bridges and contain the Protoss player in either 2 or 3 bases, you're going to be in a winning spot here. So do we have a Robo from YSC? And will he be able to build that and actually push out? I think that's the Robo right there, in fact. So will he be able to build that Robo and push out against this, or is Saxery just going to put the shackles on YSC here and not allow him out on the map for the rest of the game?
Yeah, I think this was basically it was all just a technical play to set up a lurker contain as soon as possible and leverage this positional advantage over YSC before there was any chance of him pushing out onto the map, because there's no way that he could have really had a timing to come out sooner than this. So, here's the drop play into the main base as well. It's both a lurker contain into a drop into the main base. We were both kind of right saying in a sense.
So it's going to be that drop. Here we go. Do we have the observatory? Okay, observatory is done. I think we do have Storm as well. Lurker's going to burrow here. There's nothing to reveal this. And the Lurkers are positioned such that he should be able to get huge hits on these probes if he's actually targeting. He doesn't target. No target there. Okay, looks like he might be targeting now. The probes are kind of dancing around a little bit now. And he's completely taken over this main base. I don't know if it's even going to matter whether those... Oh my god, okay, Lurker here at the natural as well. Looks like did go down, but we aren't clear on how many kills that got. But YSC is at 36 supply, and he lost his Nexus. Oh my god, this has worked so well for Saxory.
Wow, I'm so impressed by Saxory right now. Saying like seeing a macro player play like this kind of like brings tears to my eyes, tears of joy. Like to see like a macro Zerg trying to play a little bit more like how like Zealot or like someone like that would play. It's really nice to see, and he's going to be coming into the natural expansion again with another lurker. Can he get some more probes? Doesn't really matter. As long as he gets any damage done, it's still going to be pretty game-winning for him. He's killed the Nexus in the main base. He's currently ahead in supply, 54 to 43, and now he's able to take either a fourth base and go into a real heavy macro game and just finish off YSC that way, or he can just keep making units to keep the pressure on that way and keep elevating into the main base over and over again and bypass these cannons and storm in the natural expansion. It's going to be really tough for YSC to retake his main base. There'll be a threat of drop at any time, so he has to keep his units into the main base. No chance of taking his own third. So now Saxory kind of has everything in his arsenal to use against YSC. He can kind of expand, make units, do whatever he wants, and still be in a really good position.
Yeah, he's basically got this in the bag. Saxory gonna look for the closer. He could, if he throws away too many units, we might have an opportunity for a counterattack here, but I don't think that's going to happen. Dragoons are coming back here to deal with this, but that's just buying more time for a containment setup here at the front. Once we have a bunch of lurkers here across these bridges and a fourth base on the way, I think that there's just about no chance for YSC to come back in this game. All the pieces have been set here, just about double the supply for Saxory. He's got his upgrades rolling, I think, with that Evo chamber. He's done an amazing job, and I definitely agree. This is like reminiscent of true Pro League days, right? Where every player would come prepared for a single game series. They would all, practice and get ready for that one opponent that they had to take down, engineer a very specific build that's outside of their style, try to surprise their opponent as much as possible and take that win. And I think Saxory's done a fantastic job of that here.
Yeah, it's so reminiscent of those days. A few of the drop attempts into the main base getting shut down there, but it doesn't really matter. He's already put himself in such a good position. He's such a macro-orientated player that now that he's got a game state like this, like he's already won the game. As long as he just plays a straight-up, solid macro game, he'd still completely smash YSC in this position. So being able to play like that and put himself into a good early game position that he can then just macro out of and not have to worry about finishing the game right away as well is a very powerful position to be in.
Seems like he's going to go for another drop here. I don't know if I agree with this at this point. It's time to just kind of sit back, like you said, in macro. He has 6 hatcheries. He's got plenty of drones. He should be able to just overwhelm YSC as he tries to take a third base. And I mean, he could go into Hive. He can do whatever he wants at this point. He's coming in with a fake drop here. Just kind of... taking a position at the back as well. I don't know what this is all about. We've got lurkers over here. They're going to be able to hit this assimilator, but of course Storms will be able to deal with that. Oh, not able to hit both lurkers at the same time with a single storm, so that's a little bit annoying for YSC as well.
Yeah, what's interesting about that is that Saxory put those lurkers so close together that YSC thought he could storm them both, which is even funnier.
He's going to split them up even further now, and he's able to hit both of that. Oh, and he gets the Observer as well. This is just super annoying stuff. It's not like it's really winning the game here, but it's just taking advantage of the position he's got, right? He knows that he can get away with this, so he might as well harass just that little bit extra, make his position even better in this game. And YSC, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see him tap out here with how annoying this harassment has been.
Yeah, it's pretty painful for him here to have to worry about this. He can't even really do anything from this position. He can't take his third. He can't really push out onto the map. He doesn't even have that many cannons in his natural, so he's actually at risk of dying to a frontal assault as well if he does try and come out from the right-hand side and go up the small ramp. Like, there's nothing really that YSC can actually do, save from maybe hoping that Saxy tries to attack into him and he gets some like Hail Mary storms that like wipe out the entire Hydra force without losing hardly anything, and then somehow being able to take a third while counter-attacking, but I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, that's highly unlikely, I would say. We're going to have the Spire coming up here. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Queen's Nest thrown down as well. Saxry has tons of income. He's got all the options in the world, and there's that fourth base as well. So with the fourth base, that's really when you want to get into that hive play and continue your upgrades. Saxry should have triple upgrade here coming as well. Just make sure you've got all the T's crossed here for the late game. Make sure that all the I's are dotted, and there's no chance that YSC can, wait this out and eventually get into a third base and be in a good position. Look at all this lurk. This lurker field is insane. What did you say earlier about a counterattack? It's pretty unlikely, man. What the heck? How are you going to get through that? I mean, if you even had a full army as Protoss, how are you going to break all that?
Honestly, this is starting to look like some kind of guy's like crazy idea for like a UMS map to like train how to break out of lurker contains. You know what I mean? But it's not controlled by an AI; it's controlled by a pro gamer. So have fun with that.
Right. Well, to me, it's looking like somebody who is like a complete noob playing against a pro player, where it just feels like you always have less than them. You know what I mean? You always have less, but this is actually just a bad situation that resulted from an early game drop, and now we're going to come forward here with the Hydras. Lurkers moving up as well. This is the attempt from YC to try to take a third base, but he's just going to get completely smashed here. All of his army goes down. Every single Dragoon falls. And there go the Lurkers running back up their ramp and resetting up that contain once again. More drops going to be on the way here. Saxry just playing a ruthless game of keep away from YSC.
I'm really liking it though. I mean, YSC will be able to shield this from coming into his main base with the goons, so it will force Saxry to kind of have to circumvent that if he wants to still go for the drop play. So there is some like resistance from YSC available to him, but the writing's on the wall. He's not taking this third base. He's about to become mined out in his main and natural. Saxry just can put so much pressure on him. He can essentially just kill this third base whenever YSC tries to take it. So far, just trading his gas units with YSC at the front while continuously pumping units. He has such a large force of Hydras waiting in the middle. Now he's going to come in after softening up these Hydras and just flank from the east now and just completely crush this army and isolate it from the third base and now deny this ever being taken.
Yeah, there's no way that this army's going to survive here on the left-hand side. There's no storms left over. He utilized all of those to break through the lurkers on that high ground, and GG is called. YSC taps out, and Saxry takes a surprising victory there with some amazing harassment and drop play. Sorry, man, you started to cut out, so I had to jump in a couple times.
No worries. Yeah, your connection's been pretty good, but it, I think it cuts out.
Falls off a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything you can do to improve that. The speed test seemed fantastic when I checked it.
It might be a decent speed. It's just maybe have a little bit of consistency issues where it like has a little bit of like mini downtime every now and then.
Yeah, maybe.
Because you can have good speeds of packet loss. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, it's pretty decent. 33 down, 15 up megabytes. Pretty decent. It's reasonable. Should be able
Yeah.
to stream and stuff.
No, it should be okay.
Should be able to voice call at least.
Connection, the actual
Okay.
speed of it seems fine. It's just the connectivity seems to like drop off like every, I don't know, seemed like every like 10 or 30, between 10 and 20 minutes it seemed.
Hmm. Well, if I cut you off, it's probably because your voice is just like falling in and out.
Yeah. No,
So
I don't mind.
don't take it personal.
No, I won't. I won't. At first, I was confused, and I realized that there was connection issues straight away after.
Hmm. All right. You ready for this? Sell it match.
Y'all ready for this? Yeah, I'm ready.
All right.
적은 1대0. 매치 자체가 지금 아예 한 경기밖에 없습니다.
그렇죠. 또 그런 스토리가 잘 보였던 게 이제 지난 월요일에 있었던 이재호 대 장윤철전.
네.
건드렸어? 잔인한.
All right. Well, I feel like we've already watched a couple of games of Zealot here. Both Zerg players so far have been taking a page out of his book, I think, and being hyper aggressive in this series. But now we've got Zealot versus Mong, and I wonder if we're gonna see Zealot go for a crazy build, or is he gonna go for a macro play and mix it up here?
Well, first things first, saying I'm all for it. I want to see this kind of play from these players, and yeah, it would be hilarious if like now we just see the complete reverse where Zealot just does some kind of macro cheese or something and just goes like 3 hat-tricks before pool against Mong. Here would be kind of crazy and insane, but probably not going to see that. We're probably just going to see something like, yeah, it looks like it's going to be like a 9-pool expand from Zealot. Probably wants to be able to punish potential 14cc here. I think that I'm not actually sure I agree with Zealot's play here. Maybe it's purely because of the map choice, though. It's one thing we need to consider is that with this map being highly abusable for Terran, like you kind of need to go for something early on to prevent the potential early game harass. If you do go for hatchery first, you can just get really devastated by the Marines being hopped over to the behind the middles and so forth.
Yeah, 8 racks on this map is really popular. There's a lot of buildable terrain in the middle as well, so Terran players do like to abuse this map, and Zerg players here. We've already got this gas rolling. Lings are going to be out on the field here, and back at home, Mong is saving money for a command center, which is actually not what I was expecting. I thought he might pull something out like we saw in his last series of game. I don't remember which Zerg player that was against, but he really dominated on Tempest with a 1-1-1 build. So I thought that maybe he was thinking of pulling that out again, but it seems like he wants to go for more of a standard play here.
Yeah, it's looking pretty standard thus far. So we'll have to see if there's any kind of deviations in the few moments here. But so far, it's looking pretty straightforward. It's nice sneaking out of the second SCV scout just before the Lings closed in on his position, preventing any kind of further harassment. And we'll be able to get the full scout off in a minute. And that's going to be a nice little timing as well for him to come in and check the lair timing of Zealot. And Zealot's the kind of player where you really do want to keep your build hidden if you can get away with it, because Zealot is just... He's the kind of player that can kill you in about 50 different ways, and you don't know what way he's going to kill you until it finally hits you. So you kind of want to scout him at every phase of the game. So when Zealot can deny you scouting, it kind of puts you in a very uncomfortable position, no matter how good of a gamer you are. So it's going to be a nice little tactic from Mong here to bring this SCV scout in right at the pure tech timing of the Zerg play, and just doubly confirm, is this going to be spy? Is this going to be a lurk contain? Is there Lings hatching? And that's going to make him feel very safe.
Yeah, that's frustrating here for Zealot. You know, he had those Lings come into the natural, pushing that SCV away, and he thought that he had denied map vision here, but Mong gets in, he sees everything, and he knows exactly what is coming. He's going to force this sunken colony out of his opponent here because he doesn't see, a massive amount of links popping out or anything. He can move across the map. And look at this, he's going to hop over the wall as well, just to be a little bit more annoying here. That SCV is going to sit back and watch the number of drones that are popping out for Zealot. And he could even kind of deny a base at that third for a little bit. Maybe he wants to build an eBay back there or something. I don't know, but Zealot is about to start popping out mutas here. He should be able to get rid of that SCV and start to harass over here on Mong. But Mong knows everything. He should be able to block everything here.
Yeah, basically, I think scouting in StarCraft is so important, Saiyan, because once you do have the scouting information, you can just fine-tune your build and really start to min-max and get the most value for any mineral you do spend and get everything just like timed out crisply. So he's only just now starting to make the turrets right as the mutas are going to arrive, and he knows there's no possibility of like lurker threat at the front as well. So being able to like line up your build so perfectly with what the enemy is doing is such an advantage in this game, and so that's why it's like a game of like intel basically. So just knowing what your opponent's up to can be such a huge boon for you and a real nightmare for them to deal with, because they can't really catch you off guard and find these small windows of damage anymore.
Yeah, they're just going to have to outplay you mechanically. They're just going to have to out-micro you in order to take a win in that case. And knowing, as they say, is half the battle here. And Mong just knows. He knows exactly what to do. He's got 2 racks play here. Plenty of Marines being pumped out. He hasn't put himself into a difficult position here. He's not even not trying to move out at all, because he's putting a clock on these Mutalisks right now by throwing down a very quick factory. He will be able to get into either science vessels, or he will get into some Valkyries here very, very soon and get rid of these mutas and their power on the map. But right now, it's really Zealot's time to shine. He can start to pull things apart here at the front. He's killing quite a few Marines so far, and he got rid of that turret as well. So these 2 front supply depots are exposed. So there is possibility of possibly a way in for Zealot right now. He's going to go to work on that first supply depot with the Lings, and this is starting to become kind of a desperate situation here for Mong. He's got almost no Marines.
Wow, I'm kind of surprised to see it, but I'm really not at the same time. And this is Zealot, after all. He's got such good execution and build order precision, so I'm not surprised to see him execute such phenomenal muta micro like this, and just do a real good job just coming in and clearing up the entire bioforce of Mong. And here's Mong's weakest matchup, and he can't really compete with the likes of Zealot in these micro skirmishes, and it seems to be like Zealot is just overpowering him whenever there's a small tiny window of positional advantage for him to have. He's just like so quick to pounce on Mong, and Mong's definitely not up to the caliber of Zealot when it comes to these small micro engagements.
Yeah, it looks like Zealot just able to completely out micro here. Those Marines really didn't deal much damage to the mutas, and now all of the turrets are gone. Lings are just being sent across the map, and he's going to take over this barracks area. There's really not much left here for Mong. He's waiting on that first Valkyrie to pop out, but that timer that I talked about earlier, where Mong was placing a timer on these Valkyries, it's just hasn't counted down quick enough, and there we go. Everything is gone here. There's no turrets left. GG is called. Mong taps out, and Zealot puts his team in the lead. Team Queen with 2 points now. Wow. All right. There you go. Zealot showing up.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's my boy. That's my boy.
That 2 Hachimuta. I mean, yeah, that was super popular build before, right?
Yeah. I mean,
2 hatch muta?
Yeah, 2 hatch muta is good. If you've got the micro for it, it's so solid. It's just you need really good micro because, like, obviously, if you make one or two small mistakes, then the build just falls flat on its face. But if you have really exceptional micro and you don't make a lot of mistakes, all you got to do is get like a few good engagements, and you just like keep snowballing that tiny advantage into a bigger advantage, and you keep the pressure on, get on top of the Terran production. There's nothing they can do as long as you micro well.
Yeah, I guess so.
I've beaten like Love Snow
Seemed like
that way before as well. It's a really good way of playing if you know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
What are you gonna say? Sorry.
Nothing. It's okay. Just Mon. Yeah, it didn't seem like he had a range on his Marines yet, and he like lost all of them before he could fight at all.
Yeah, it was pretty bad engagement from him overall. Like, I was surprised to see how bad it was, but I wasn't surprised to see Celot pull him apart either.
Right. You need a little break, or you want to go into this one?
I'm okay. We can go if you're good.
All right, let's go.
경기와 함께하고 계십니다. 그러니까 이번 경기 그리고 남은 경기에 따라서 어떻게 될지 모르겠습니다만 룰렛을 갈 수도 있고 안 갈 수도 있습니다. 그리고 조일장은
Oh, it's really feeling like the week of Zerg here. All Zerg victories across the board so far. And we're going here into another Zerg matchup. We've got Denzi versus Tallest Girl. This may be our first Zerg loss of the night.
I mean, I think so, Saiyan, but who knows? Maybe we'll see a crazy upset here. But if I had money and this was like, I don't know, let's say 5-1 Denzi, I still would probably be not thinking about betting on Denzi. You know what I mean? Like, I really don't feel like this is going to be much chance of her winning here. She will do some kind of crazy cheese, I imagine, against Tosco, whether there'll be some kind of Ling all-in or Lurker bust or 2-3 hatch muta all-in. I don't know. I really seriously doubt that Denzi's going to try and play a straight-up game against Tosco here. She would just get absolutely mangled.
For sure. Ladies ASL, previous season, it was Cadenzi versus Toss Girl in the finals, and she got 4-0'd. So probably not wanting to relive that experience. Maybe she's going to pull out something really sneaky, something she's never tried before here against Toss Girl and try to knock her out early. She's going for a 12 hatch to start things off.
Well,
and she's actually building more drones here afterwards as well.
Yeah.
Oh no, she didn't start another drone. Okay.
Well, she's actually, if she's going 12 hatch, that makes me wonder if she's thinking about potentially a lurker play here, because you can't really do you can't really go lurkers unless you go for 12 hatch, at least like a very fast 12 hatch into lurker play. You can do, like, say like a 12 pool into lurker just doesn't really work very well at all. You kind of only go mutas in that situation. But with this 12 hatch, it leaves her open to go for lurkers as well. So might see some kind of lurker bust at the front here with the wall in. I don't know, maybe we'll see. Denzi usually doesn't go for lurkers though very often. She does prefer mutas overall.
Oh, this is interesting. We've got the wall in here, so that might be what triggers Cadenzi to go for the lurker play. Looks like she loses her scouting drone, but she gets a full scout. She knows there's not a gas build here, so she won't need that early sunken colony in order to hold things off. A couple Lings going to be produced here soon for Cadenzi, so she can deal with this pesky little SCV here in her natural. No layer just yet, but we should see a layer come down, and yeah, I'm looking for that Hydralisk build here. I wonder if we're going to see it. Those two Lings popping out here. It actually needs to get rid of this scouting worker, though, instead of sending these across the map.
I'm really confused why she's sending the toolings across the map, because there's no way that they will. Is she worried about? She's probably worried about Marines coming across the map and pressuring this Overlord, and she wanted to send these toolings to make sure the Overlord would just have no chance of dying, and maybe to also scout out if the Marines were moving around to the south and sneaking around the Overlord and didn't want to risk like losing drones. It's possible, but she's actually going to be able to bypass the Marines and do a little bit of a counterattack, but doesn't actually get the delay on the CC. Instead, she's going to be target firing the depot. Now going to be redirecting the Lings back into the main base of Tosco to maybe get some harassment there. Just as the SCV train's starting to come down to the natural expansion of the mine. And now Denzi's starting to put on a little bit of pressure with these Zerglings. If she can pull the Marines into the main base to deal with these Zerglings, she's getting SCV kills as well into the main base. Actually pretty good for Denzi, getting a couple SCV kills here, while also distracting the Marines into the main base with the additional links now coming into the natural. Can put on a lot of pressure onto Tosco here soon.
Ooh, she gets a Marine kill here at the natural, and 4 Lings run in. She's got Ling speed now. 4 Marines are coming down here. 1 Marine pops out. She can dive on top of that, but good micro with the SCVs there. 1 more Marine does go down, but I think that's the end of this aggression. Hopefully back at home, Denzi is hitting her build here. Looks like she's gone for a 2-hatch Muta. She's going to try to put on some serious pressure coming up. Maybe those early SCV kills are going to play a factor here.
Yeah, and it did rattle Tosco a little bit. She's only just now starting to like cool down and stabilize. She even had 4 mining gas in the main and noticed, and then finally just pulled the SCV off. Now starting to get herself together, regrouping. Has got this SCV in the gap on the wall just in case there was any kind of follow-up aggression. Denzi is a little bit psychotic sometimes with some of the way she does like to play her games, and she does like to go for slightly strange follow-ups to her cheeses as well. So Tosco is well aware that there's a potential here that another floodgate of Lings is coming, so she's being absolutely safe as possible for as long as possible, while also now going to be making these scanners. Now going to start to scan the tech of Tosco. Does see the Spire about to finish up, so can confirm exactly what she needs to defend, but will be a little bit behind the curve this game after losing those SCVs in the early game. So there is a big window here for Denzi to put a lot of pressure and potentially punish Tosco.
That was a pretty big risk, I feel, from Tosco there. She spent both of her scans, and had there been a Hydra Den and Lurkers on the way, she wouldn't have had any scans to use here at the front as the Lurkers came in. So that was a little bit of a scary moment, but Denzi actually not going for that tank. Instead, she's thrown down a 3rd base down the bottom right. She's just going to start to do some harassment here. Oh, that looks a little bit funny. Looks like there's only 2 minerals there. That's actually a little bit strange. I don't know why it's like that, but... Oh, here comes the medic. Wait a second. Medic walking out on her own. What a pain there. Tosco loses her first medic, and Denzi gets a nice little win here to start this aggression.
Yeah, I'm sure Artosis will be feeling a sense of catharsis if he could see that. Definitely was a bit of an Artosis medic there, wandering off into the abyss, never to be seen again. But yeah, I think the hatchery being made and only seeing 2 mineral blocks, I think that's a glitch on certain maps where I've seen it do that before, where I'm not sure why it does it, but it seems to be something to do about observers and building hatcheries. I don't know why.
Well, we're almost going to get this supply depot at the front. We're going to bring some some Lings forward to deal with these Marines. Ooh, the Marines actually getting kind of blocked up on that. She went for a medic as well. Not going to get that. Hasn't been able to pick off these supply depots, and I think that Tosco is starting... Oh, what? Second layer here. Bit of a mistake from Tosco, making a second layer in the main base right now.
I mean, unless she's going for a double drop at the drop and speed at the same time and transitioning into Lurker. I mean, maybe, but yeah, I don't think so. I think maybe that's a little bit of a mistake, maybe a hotkey issue. I'm assuming that's a hotkey issue. I don't think she intended to do that. I'm pretty sure. That's got to be a mistake. There's no reason. It's possible she does want to go for double tech, though. It is possible she does want to get both. Like because by the time that the Hydra, the Overlord drop or speed is like halfway done, then the lair finishes up and you can start researching the other one. There's a slightly crisper timing because of that, and maybe getting in there just before vessels are coming out, maybe a window where she can actually punish Tosco. But I'm not sure that's going to be the best course of action for Denzi going forward. But maybe she feels like she has to do something a little bit gimmicky to get the best of Tosco, despite having that early lead.
Maybe she hides Queen's Nest and then builds the hive in the main. Hides the hive. That's I don't know.
Maybe, Sam.
I'm grasping at straws here to figure out what's going on, but this third base has not been scouted here. Toss Girl is building a lot of defense, even a second bunker coming down, realizing that there are lurkers on the way. Maybe she commits too many defenses here to the front, and Toss Girl gets a drop into the main. I wonder what this is for, or if this was just a mistake. We're never gonna know, I guess. So we're not gonna get an interview with Denzi after this, unfortunately. But if there is suddenly speed and drop on these overlords, I guess we will find out.
Yeah, I guess we will soon. We'll have to wait and see. It does have +1 on these Mutalisks. They are a little bit more potent than your average Mutalisk, but that will start to level out very quickly as the upgrades of the Marines. Oh, beautiful catch on these Mutas by Tosco, reducing their numbers quite significantly. Now just 8 Mutas remaining. Does get a little bit of return fire on these Marines, taking 3 of them down in short. A good volley there, actually, taking down 5 so far with that whole position now. So going to be leveling out some of those trades ever so slightly, but so far that does still favor Tosco in his position. But the supplies are indicative of a Zerg advantage right now, so Tosco is still technically the one scrambling. So I would say still advantage Denzi on paper, but this is Tosco, so I still feel like Tosco will potentially outmaneuver and outplay Denzi going forward. So even though Denzi's looking good right now, that could change very quickly. So far, she's doing a good job of sharking around the map with these mutas, though, and reducing the bio count over and over again, which is exactly what she should be doing. And now the lurkers coming out onto the map as well, and she can kind of protect these lurkers and keep them isolated away from these Marines, while the Marines are distracted, hunting down overlords and get into their natural expansion with these overlords and with these lurkers, and set up a contain and potentially bust as well. But there is 2 bunkers, so I don't think she's going to be able to bust here, but locking out these bio forces from the natural expansion while putting on pressure is going to be really annoying for Tosco.
I don't know if she's locking these out, or is she setting herself up to get surrounded here, going after this first Science Festival, but losing every muta in return. Oh boy, Denzi making some critical errors here, but she is going to back away with these lurkers, which I think is the right choice. She's got a 4th base on the way. All she needs to do is get a Queen's Nest down here and get that hive tech rolling, because it's pretty late at this point. And with 4 gases, she should be able to hang on and get herself into some Ultralisk tech. She has had that Evo chamber for quite a long time. As long as she has a Carapace upgrade on the way, she should be feeling pretty good here.
Yeah, I'm really confused about the play there from Denzi. I thought she was going to lock the Bioforces out with the Lurkers and then swing into the main base with the Mutas and put pressure onto the production or the SCV line and lock out the Bioforce from coming back into the main to defend and maybe causing some havoc there. But instead, we just saw the Mutas evaporate. So I'm not too sure exactly what the thought process was behind that, but nonetheless, Denzi's still in a really good position in this game, and if she can get these 4 gases up online, that's pretty much game-ending advantage for her going forward, but is currently supply blocked. Now a little bit of pressure from Tosco coming out onto the map. Denzi has a lot of lurkers and lings to mobilize and use to defend against this, but there is some siege tanks to put on some pressure with pre-defiler tech, so unless Denzi can get these defilers out soon, there is a small window here for Tosco to make something happen, but there is a lot of Zerg forces that can be used to surround and kill this whole Bioball all in one go.
Alright, here we go. Huge amount of lurkers going to come up here. Pretty good irradiates going down on some of these lurkers and a D-Matrix as well. Lurkers going to burrow right on top of these tanks. Tosco just running forward here, trying to get some damage going in this 3rd base. She is going to kill quite a few drones, but this entire army is going to get mopped up. Very nice execution here from Denzi, and Toss Girl has lost her entire force. I don't see a follow-up, a transition here into Hive Tech, but this is a lot of lurkers and hydras to deal with right now. Oh, God, she's got to kill one of these. Come on. Oh, man, that sucks to let those bolts run away. It's kind of hurting my heart right now here as a Zerg player.
Yeah, you hate to see it, but sometimes this sort of thing happens, and it's a little bit frustrating, but it is what it is. I mean, I don't think Tosco's going to heal those up, so maybe they'll die soon to a single Scourge or some of these Hydras that are coming. But yeah, right now Tosco's in a bit of desperation. She needs to kind of like ramp up her production. She needs to grow quick. She's in such a bad state of affairs that she needs to just try and skyrocket in her production somehow. Take a little bit of a try and go for kind of a Hail Mary play here, get this third base online, make as many tanks as possible, try and pump out as many units as possible, and just hope that she doesn't die because she can somehow come up with some kind of counter-offensive eventually. But for the time being, it's going to be a little bit of a hellscape for her to have to navigate.
Yeah, this is a great opportunity for Denzi to really macro up here. There's not a lot that Tosco can do at the moment to put pressure on Denzi. So she could make a huge amount of drones here, go up to like 70 drones on 4 bases and, get into just kind of crazy production here. But she's actually going for some drops right now, and the drops are getting shut down pretty badly. There's a tank here in the main. Oh, drops are coming in to the natural. A lot of lurkers here being dropped by Cadenzi. She's going to drop right on top of this armory as well, so the armory will end up going down. Everything's been lifted here for Tosco, and she's bringing the tanks back to deal with this. So I don't think it's going to deal too much damage, but the follow-up attack here towards the third base might actually do quite a lot. Lurker's going to go right on top of this, kill most of the Marines, and Hydras are going to kill the tank as well. This is potentially game-ending here. A lot of damage coming down from Denzi. Is Tosco going to be able to hold on?
Well, say my little British heart is like starting to pound a little bit here. Denzi's starting to represent the Great British Isles, and she's doing a good job of it. The wee Scottish lass is doing a very good job against the likes of Tosco, someone that would usually completely demolish her, and now actually kind of putting the pressure and turning the tables on her. And Denzi, with these 4 gases now able to leverage against Tosco, there's going to be so many units that she can pump out. She doesn't quite have a hive on the way, so she can't really transform that into any Ultralisks anytime soon, but she can make so many lurkers to just keep hammering on the gates, prevent any 4th base from going up for Tosco, and eventually Tosco's going to become mined out in this main and natural. She's not even mining gas in the natural expansion right now as Tosco, so there's so much more of a gas advantage for Denzi here.
I think we go Queen. I think we go Queens here.
Broodlings.
If I'm Cadenzi right now, I think Broodlings is the way to go. We're really ramping up production here on those tanks, and they are the backbone of this army. Once you remove the tanks, if you've got Hydra Lurker, you're just going to be able to plow through any Marines that come out of Toss Girl here. She's finally starting to get up to that really high drone count. We see some more drones popping out here. I think it's a bit of a mistake not to drone up a little bit harder earlier on, but Cadenzi did manage to put on quite a lot of pressure. She killed some SCVs. She killed a lot of the army. She's dropping once again here in the main, going to kill off this missile turret. That tank just being so high value throughout this game, actually, holding things back, making sure that the main base doesn't get ravaged here. And another drop coming into the natural. Here we go again.
Wow, round 2 of these drops. It's like Denzi is just like using all the gimmicks at her disposal to try and do her best to get advantages where she can, and it's working for her in this game. And Tosco's a little bit stressed out right now, and I really do like the play from Tosco. They're having this like singular tank and bunker in the main base to kind of ward away the drops. She's aware of the playstyle of Denzi, but it doesn't matter. Denzi's still getting the job done with her playstyle, and Tosco's in a bit of a dire situation for the time being, but she's now starting to ward away these threats of Zerg at her perimeter. She's starting to stabilize the position. The supplies are looking a lot more normal for this game state, and Hive's only just now about to finish up as well. Double Hive? What is going on in this game? Is she... what? Is she trolling? I don't understand. Does she think the game's in the bag and she's trolling? But I think she needs to be a little bit more, a little bit less cocky. She needs every resource at her disposal still to make sure this game doesn't slip through her fingers. And maybe go into Defilers right now and start to make Ultralisks maybe, because there's a lot of tanks actually for Toss Girls that she can start to shuffle out and leapfrog across the map to this bottom right quadrant and cause a lot of pressure there if Denzi's not careful. And only just now finishing these hives, so it will take a long time before the Defiler tech is available to her. So it could be a small window for Tosco to exploit here for sure.
Denzi is not macroing right now. I think she might have kind of missed the boat here. That last attack really seemed to throw. It felt desperate to me, the way she was attacking in there. It was like she really needed to win, where her position was looking fantastic. But now, tanks sieging up here at the natural. This push is nearly unbreakable with the tech that Denzi has. Her hive is just way too late. Despite having 2 hives, I feel like it's better to have 1 earlier. Let's be honest. Here comes those tanks. Here comes the Hydra's going to come and try to fight against this army, but look at how quickly they explode. GG. Toss Girl ends up taking that one down, but Denzi had a real fighting chance in that game. I just feel like she sort of fell apart there.
근데 웅크를 준 거에 비해서 피해를 또 받았어요. 서플 날아가고 마린 다 끊기고 이래가지고 저가 인구수 앞선 타이밍도 있었고 되게 좋았는데 진짜
Yeah, experience wins out again. Denzi just doesn't have the composure. Then he doesn't have the composure or the experience to handle those situations and not like lose her cool and like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And she's such a aggressive she's such an aggressive style of player that she like, even the situation where it's like, okay, I've got this more or less in the bag. I just need to chill, get my Defiler, get my Ultralisks out and just overpower. Like she just couldn't chill. You know what I mean? Like just kept hitting her head against the wall and then realized, oh no, shit, now what?
I mean, yeah, I definitely agree. I feel like you land, you kill that first army that attacks your 3rd base. Right as you kill that, you make like 12 drones. You get up to like 70. You saturate 3 bases, or 4 bases, sorry, with your hive on the way, and you just defend.
Yeah, she needed
The
like
Terran player's gonna have. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say she needed like 3 drones per base more. Like just that small power spike would have made such a big difference. It would have balanced out her gas advantage as well.
The 4th base was not mining for a long time, and she was building, like, she killed that army and she was just building hydras and lurkers and getting ready for the drop, which is like, I feel like you're not leaning into your advantage at all. You know, you're like playing desperate.
She needs at least 60 drones there, and she didn't even have 50 for a long time.
She had 60 drones. If she like did a full drone round right after she killed that army, and she could pop down like 2-3 more hatcheries at the 4th base, and she could have just overwhelmed with Hydra. She didn't even need to, you know what I mean? Like if you hit your macro hard enough, you could almost max out with Hydra and just like overwhelm and just kill. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Add a Defiler in there, throw down a couple Dark Swarms, and you can just crush.
I think a lot of that game was nerves. I think like she got into a good position and got nervous and couldn't like execute, and she was just desperate to finish the game as quickly as possible while in the good position because she didn't want to stress herself out with a late game scenario.
Yeah. Let's start this game. We can talk about it a little bit as we're going into it. Okay, let's go. Well, that's a bit of a bummer there. Cadenzi playing a bit on the nervous side. You can definitely see it in the fact that she built 2 layers and 2 hives. I felt like she really had that in the bag. Had she been a little bit more calm and cool-headed, she should have been able to macro into a huge advantage there, but ends up getting knocked down.
Yeah, at the end of the day, she just wasn't able to keep her cool. Kind of maybe an issue of nerves and couldn't maintain that composure required to go to a late game state, and was maybe fearful of it. I feel, and was just scared that Tosco was the most experienced of the 2 players, and that rang true in that game as we saw Tosco come back and basically secure such an easy win after being so far behind, and that was mainly because of the lack of composure from Denzi and kind of throwing herself at the wall until she finally splattered herself and if she'd just like been a little bit more cautious and gone up to a power spike of drones earlier, up to 50 drones, 48 minerals and 12 on gas for the 4 gases, that would have been plenty. And then we could have easily balanced out that gas advantage more and made a few extra macro hatcheries and would have just been able to overrun the Terran player from there. But instead was the nerves got the better of us and we threw the game a little bit.
For sure. I mean, everyone has felt that. Everyone's felt that feeling where you are ahead. You're actually beating someone who you consider to be better than you. You know, whether it's a person who's higher rank or a friend of yours that usually wins. You know, and you get into a good position and your heart starts pumping like crazy, and you're like, I'm actually gonna win this game. But you're not really, you're not thinking ahead. You're not actually planning out your win condition, and you end up throwing it away and wondering how the heck it happened. But yeah, like, we've all been there. We understand, and now we're going into this game, and it's been completely mirrored builds here between Queen and Hero so far. Both went for a 12 hatch. Both went for pool gas right after, and they're both building literally exactly the same units right now.
Yeah, the only thing different is the fact that there's minerals on the left for Hero here, and there's minerals on the right for Queen. So there will be some mineral optimization difference here, especially from how good they can execute their mineral optimizations at early games. So there'll be some tiny deviations in their build, but more or less exactly identical from both players here, except we see slightly faster 6-lings for Queen coming out with only 4 here for Hero with only 4 for Queen. So if he can get on top of these lings early and maybe punish Queen, that could be a nice little early win for him. He's got like 8 lings in total to only 4 here of Queen, and Queen trying to get a defender's advantage here and delay making these lings as long as possible.
Well, if he loses a drone here, he's going to really regret building drones rather than lings in this situation. You know, there's just been pure ling production from Hero, and he's really going to take advantage here. He gets 1 drone, doesn't quite get the second, and lings now pop out. The defender's advantage coming into play here. Drones for Hero back at home. So he manages to kill 1, is going to back away with that advantage and kind of transition here into his second gas. Queen tried to build that second gas, but he actually canceled it in a moment of desperation. So now he's going to be on the attack, and Hero will have to defend here with a bit of an advantage now.
Yeah, and Hero, very wise player, going to be just pumping out pure Zergling for the time being. He knows that the risk of counterattack is his highest loss percentage in this current situation with the early advantage. And now he's going to be pumping out the additional Zerglings, enough that he can then come back out into the map with those Zerglings, put them the counter pressure as well, force Queen back into a more defensive way of playing. And that'll give him enough posturing here to come out with another force of lings to the northern flank to then hopefully punish Queen if Queen does decide to come out right now, which Queen is deciding to do so. And now he can punish from the natural expansion while Queen's out of position, but Queen actually doing a really good job splitting his own forces up and not allowing that counterattack from Hero to come in. So far, both players reading each other very well, Saiyan.
Exactly even on the overall supply here right now. Queen and Hero just finishing up their spires at approximately the same time. Looks like Hero has banked up a little bit more gas. He had that natural gas going for a slight bit longer here. And now both players are going to pop their mutas at the same time. Will there be any overloads that can be tracked down? Looks like Hero following this overlord from Queen all the way down towards that bottom left. He's looking to get the kill on that one ling trying to slip by here for Hero. A couple lings trying to slip by for Queen. No serious advantage for either player just yet. I think Hero at a very small lead, though.
Yeah, I would say ever so slightly Hero favored here. And catching this Overlord is also a really nice pickoff from him because getting a supply block on Queen whilst also not being supply blocked himself, it will be enough of an advantage here that he can keep snowballing this tiny edge into a bigger and bigger lead. I think overall, this won't necessarily dictate the entire game, but having any kind of positional advantage in such a mirror matchup like this, where both players are playing identically, it does eventually usually go into the favor of that player. And that's one of the things that made Jaedong so strong in those early days, was that he just would never lose once he did get that small advantage. And now look at Hero here, getting another Overlord Stipe on Queen. Now supply blocks 41 to 26, not going to be able to build for some time. Now also a Ling in the main base going to be taking down one of these drones, maybe forcing it off the line at the very least, going to be disrupting him, causing some nightmare situation for Queen to navigate now, as he has to build these Overlords again before he can even start to remake drones and remake more additional Scourge and Mutalisks. Now the power spike is in Hero's favor further, and he can also catch some of these Lings for free as well with these Mutas. But now there's a counterattack from these Lings from Queen, but Hero's got all of his T's crossed and all of his I's dotted in this game, and not going to be allowing any further damage to be dealt to him in this game. And so far looking pretty solid. I feel like Hero's going to eventually even out things for his team here and bring this to a 3-2.
Wow. Queen just can't build anything, man. He hasn't been able to build any Mutas or Scourge for such a long time, and now his Mutas just being overpowered here in the main, chased down and killed. All the Mutas are going to fall here for Queen, and it looks like Hero just going to take a straight-up victory in this main base. He's got to fight, of course, these Scourge as they pop out, but great connection here, using Scourge once again to pick off that last Muta. He's still got 7 Mutas here to kill all the drones back at home. He should be able to produce enough to deal with these Lings in his own main base, and just a perfect victory here from Hero, killing off those Overlords, supply blocking his opponent, and then executing on a very crisp Mutalisk timing.
빌드가 11합 대 12합이었으면 거의 차이가 없는 거거든요. 근데
그때 스코어
조비석 선수에게는 좀
Nice. I mean, that's
Very nice.
it's a very nice little standard ZVZ game there.
Weirdly, you don't see that very often these days.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to make many mistakes for the game to end, that's for sure. Not in this game. Not in ZVZ. I feel like Queen just had his Overlord slightly out of position, maybe?
Yeah, well, like I said in the cast, like usually the player that has a tiny advantage tends to snowball into a much bigger advantage in ZVZ when the builds are so identical like that. And yeah, it can just start from like not being able to protect an Overlord, and then it just escalates and escalates and escalates, and you can't do anything about it. Like that tiny advantage is just insurmountable when there's a player of that caliber doing the exact same build as you, and he's got that much of an advantage. It's like really hard to overcome.
Right. Yeah, it's a lot different than if the players are, one player is definitely the Spore player, you know what I mean? And the other player is definitely the Muta player. You're doing different builds.
Yeah.
There's not like a totally clear advantage, right?
Yeah, when there's that level of symmetry, it's just so hard to overcome those odds, even though they're so small.
Right. Okay. TVT. You ready?
TVT. Let's do it.
이라고 봐야 돼요. 왜냐면 사실 코너에 몰리게 되면 뭔가 황병영 선수의 공격성이나 이런 부분이 조금 더 자유로워질 수 있는 약간 그런 느낌일 텐데.
Okay, back-to-back mirror matchups here. We've got Barracks versus Sharp, but I want to take just a quick moment to talk about that Hero versus Queen game. I think you said something really interesting in the break there, Shun, about how mirrored builds, when builds are exactly the same and one player gets a small advantage, they just kind of snowball from there.
Yeah, there's not really much you can do about it as well, saying like with players of this caliber, just a tiny advantage, even if it's just an unprotected Overlord that supply box you for a little bit, like that can be just an insurmountable odds for you to overcome when there's a player of that caliber doing the exact same thing as you, but with that tiny advantage can just escalate to further and further levels of advantage to just such crazy win percentages that even the best player will still not be able to navigate their way to a victory. So really frustrating to have to deal with when that happens, but having an unprotected Overlord like that's just a nightmare scenario to have to recover from when you're in a mirrored situation.
Yeah, that does make sense to me, like why we didn't end up seeing a later game there, but we have been seeing so many later game ZVZs. It's really the popularity of going for more of a spore-based play, and when one player's going spores and the other player's going Mutalisk, that's when we can really see those late game scenarios play out, or when no player gets an early advantage, right? If there's mirrored builds and no Overlord goes down, there's no clear advantage for either player, it's really hard to decide to actually pull the trigger and go for an attack, and that's when things really start to build up.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we see a lot lately, with players are a little bit hesitant to be aggressive because they know how strong the defender's advantage is, especially in those mirrored situations. So usually players are erring on the side of caution, which is why we've been having these super late game styles, because there is that big defender's advantage to worry about. And players of this day and age are just so good in the meta game that they can afford to not really be caught off guard in the early game like they used to be able to. And back in the day, it's so easy to get Ling run bys and stuff, but now not so much. So usually players erring on the side of caution, and we see Barracks going to be getting into the main base with the SCV here and just confirm exactly what's going on. But meanwhile, not able to get into the main base is Sharp, and with 2 SCVs versus 2 Marines. And versus only 1 Marine, he's not going to get in there easily. But beautiful micro from Sharp, even though he has a disadvantage, kills both Marines, and now can also put a little bit of pressure on and get his SCV, and now will be able to delay this command center going. It was a very good tactical advantage for Sharp going forward. Does able to shut that down before losing the SCV, building the command center though. Oh, barely not able to get that same. Would have been a huge pickup for him.
Yeah, he manages to save that SCV. It was kind of a rough spot there for Barracks for a moment, coming in with those 2 Marines and targeting down very nicely, did Sharp, but he was trying to follow that up with a 3rd Marine, but he's being harassed by the SCV over at the Barracks that was proxied a little bit farther forward, and a lot of back and forth here already in this early game. Things are starting to heat up. We got to talk about this mirror matchup now. It's also been evolving a lot recently, and these games have been getting shorter and shorter, and you can just see why people are being so aggressive, and Sharp's no exception.
Sharp's so good at his execution with his vultures. He's not only a very aggressive player in his play style, but his execution with these vultures is so stellar. The way he target fires. Oh, but hang on a minute. Barracks got a better trade of this. First volley went to Barracks here, and now the tables have flipped because Barracks can chase down this second vulture. So far, getting a good advantage over Sharp. Now retreating the second vulture to get the positional advantage over that. Now can also run away from this vulture and not lose any HP on this second vulture, and eventually just repair it up and have a small advantage here going forward. So actually a nice little return fire here from Barracks, kind of saying you might be known for being good at vultures, Sharp, but I'm good as well.
Yeah, and he proves it there, managing to kill more vultures and gets that single vulture advantage, and that might be enough to convince Sharp that it's time to transition. A Wraith is coming out of Barracks right now, and it hasn't been scouted. It's about to be scouted by this Barracks that's floating in the main base, and we do have an armory on the way, but we may end up losing an SCV or 2. We're definitely going to lose this Marine here for Sharp. Picks that off, and that means that the Barracks is going to survive long-term in this main base. He's just going to get the scout off here. We do have the armory just about finished, so we should have some Goliaths on the way. He was searching for the armory. Okay, he finds the armory. He's going to be able to kill the SCV building the armory. Okay, good repair here from Sharp to keep that alive. Second Wraith is going to make its way over here, but we should now have Goliaths on the way to kind of keep this economy going here, to prevent more damage coming through. For Barracks. Ooh, looks like he gets 1 SCV. How many more can he get here before the Goliaths pop out? This is a big advantage now going towards Barracks if he continues to deal this damage.
Yeah, 1 Wraith is annoying, 2 is a problem, 4 is scary. So yeah, right now this is an annoying situation and a problem for Barracks to have to deal with, because enough SCVs are going down that the race basically paid for themselves, and that will also still have some lingering value as the game progresses as well. So far this is definitely looking like advantage Barracks. The player that usually goes for Wraiths also tends to have a small advantage in these scenarios. So I would say so far I favor Barracks' position, but that could change in a heartbeat in these situations. So it doesn't necessarily mean that this game is going to go into Barracks' favor. Right now, actually, Sharp does have technically a better control of the center of the map, so still positional advantage goes to Sharp for the time being, as long as he controls this center of the map going forward and can somehow overpower these cloaked wraiths coming up in the next phase of the game. But I'm not too sure about that. I feel like Barracks has so far navigated quite well in this early game.
It's interesting getting the cloak upgrade here right in the face of Sharp. But he is going to do that. He's going to go ahead and get that upgrade. We'll see what he can get done with that cloak. He's got a small position here with tanks out in front of his natural. Just wanting to make sure that tanks can't come up from Sharp and siege up right in front and contain him here. He wants to keep some options open for moving around the map. Has that position out here, but Sharp, yeah, like you said, he's just got so much position here with the mines now out in front of his opponent's base, and on every single expansion that Barracks would want to take. This is okay for Sharp right now. He's definitely behind, but he's still got some good things going for him right now. Let's see what this drop can do.
Yeah, we have a Vulture drop Gambit coming out from Barracks right now as it makes its way to the southern threshold of the map. Going to be trying to circumvent being scouted by going around the very south side of the map here to try and see if he can sneak in and do maximum damage, while also making him play out onto the center of the map to kind of distract Sharp and keep his focus central right now as the dropship makes its way into the natural expansion. 4 Vultures inside here to try and get maximum damage done. I'm not sure if he's going to do 2 in the natural and 2 in the main, or maybe even just do 4 in the main. That's another possibility here. Wants to maybe lay down some mines. 2 Goliaths intercepting the dropship right away, though, saying the Vultures will be able to get out still, but catching the dropship is for guaranteed. Is a nice little pick off here. Mine's not able to find their connections as well. Does try to get onto the SUV line. Does take out the gas SUVs first wisely. So that's 4 SUVs killed so far. Maybe kill like 5 or 6 or so SUVs, but not really the exact damage that he was hoping for, but still a pretty respectable find for him.
Oh, some good control there with the Vultures after they dropped out. He tried to lay some mines to possibly connect with those Goliaths, but he got some decent SCV damage done in the end. Now coming forward with the tanks, he's actually taken a pretty forward. Wraiths have found that there's not really that much defense here in the main. There is one Goliath, though, that's going to push them back. Oh my goodness, Sharp going for quite the move here, heading right over to this false high ground and trying to set up just outside the natural right now of Barracks, sending some Vultures in towards this natural. Can he actually get some SCV damage of his own here onto Barracks? Barracks kind of struggling to bring all of his units back. He's sieging up tanks right next to mines. Okay, this mine is not going to connect, but a lot of SCVs are going down here.
Yeah, that's definitely evening things up in terms of how many SCVs have been lost, and I really do like the positional advantage of these tanks in the false high ground here. But now Barracks is going to make a big play for it and try and overwhelm this position right now and crush it. But if he doesn't clean this up nicely, it's going to be devastating for him. He is starting to do a pretty good job of that. It looks like now I think he has enough of an advantage in terms of how many units there are out on the map that he can now start to simplify the position by trading the pieces off the board. So I think Sharp might be in a little bit of trouble if he doesn't execute phenomenally well here. So far, he has enough position to keep Barracks at bay as long as he keeps a nice healthy line of tanks along the bottom of this false high ground. And so far, he is doing that. And now he's going to probably want to try and jostle for position and see if he can navigate back to safety and try and set up a new siege line more central to the map here, while also setting up to take his own third in a few moments, because he needs to re-establish some lanes of trenches here in the map to kind of make sure that he has a viable late game going forward, because Barracks is expanding himself right now.
Yeah, this is interesting to watch, right? Barracks, he's obviously a very good player, and he's got himself a good advantage, but the way that he's moving his tanks, the way that he's sieging and unsieging here, it makes me feel like maybe Sharp is slightly better in this matchup. We've seen him play from behind, even against a player the quality of Light, a little bit earlier on in this this half of the in the second half of the KCM. He is just such a beast in this matchup. I feel like he gets the most value out of every single unit. Will it be enough to bring him back in this game? I'm not sure, but Barracks definitely seems to be capable of making some mistakes with his siege ups. Let's see if he makes an egregious enough error here to where Sharp can actually make a comeback. Looks like going to be able to deny any bases going down here at the 6 o'clock for now, getting some mines over here. But Sharp is actually expanding over towards the center right. And we're actually starting to get into a longer game, which is, funnily enough, kind of rare in this matchup these days.
Yeah, it is pretty rare. Don't usually see it. But it's really kind of weird how TVT's gotten shorter and ZVZ's gotten longer as time has progressed, say. And I wonder if that trend will continue, if we'll see another pendulum swing go the other way soon. But yeah, right now we're seeing some very strange things in the mirror matchups. But for now, we're going to be seeing a very much more standard mid to late game phase TVT, and we see a lot more starports and race being produced for Barracks here. So going to be making a whole armada of race to challenge the ground force of Sharp, and I feel like that's probably one of the best gambits he can make. He already has an advantage in the army supply, but not quite on the ground army with in terms of how many vultures are out on the field right now. So Sharp does have a bit of a tactical advantage with the vulture raids going out on the map right now and putting on counterattack potentials as well, forcing Barracks to have to worry about the northern threshold of the map a lot more than he would like to. So, and Sharp's done a great job of establishing this central control. I feel like Barracks has enough army advantage that he can eventually squeeze Sharp out of the center with these Wraiths coming up soon. But for the time being, Sharp's done a great job of like jostling for position and like able to set himself up quite nicely going forward and giving himself a very strong fighting chance here.
The missile turrets are a nice touch here from Sharp. I think he might have seen or scouted the extra starports that have been added on here, because that can be a move that is devastating from the player who has extra race and cloak. You can just suddenly cloak, fly in, kill the Goliath, and then just start ravaging the tank line. As soon as the tanks unsiege, you unsiege all of your own tanks and just shove forward. And that can be like a snowball that rolls up the entire rest of your army, and you end up losing too much position on the map to ever come back. But with Sharp adding those turrets, it's not as easy to just cloak and run in and to fight down some Goliaths, but he's getting 2 kills here right off the bat. Coming forward, trying to, maybe poke these Goliaths down a little bit. But he can't break any of these positions right now. And there's a Valkyrie as well. One Valkyrie out can really change the math here. The Wraiths are just flying in and taking a huge amount of damage, but the tanks are shoving forward here. Barrack's starting to close the noose on Sharp, actually.
Yeah, it's looking like that's saying currently a 30 supply advantage for Barracks, and he's slowly encroaching on these positions, taking up more of this center board advantage. And it is very much like chess in this matchup, and controlling the center like this does afford you so much luxury, comfort, and also potential lines of attack. So going forward, Barracks is pretty much like a kid in a candy store with how he can go about winning this game, but he has to be very methodical about it. It's not like he can just push a button and win. You have to be very slow and composed in TVT. Now making a gambit for the northern threshold. I'm not sure this is a good play, actually. I think this is a mistake from Barracks. He's going to lose all of these paper planes to the Valkyries. There is only a few advantage of tanks for Barracks that's not going to be able to be leveraged enough. You need such an overwhelming number of tanks to break these positions, and he did not have it. So he's going to lose this gambit in the north, actually, and kind of level out the playing field just enough that I think Sharp now is going to be able to have a chance at staying in this game and remaining healthy for the time being.
Yeah, that's true. The thing about going Valkyries, though, is that even when you win that air battle, you get rid of all the raids, you're not really going to have the same utility as when you win with wraiths of your own. Of course, they just can't shoot down. They're just going to kind of sit there now in the air, not really adding anything to the army except for potential map vision. And Barrack's going to start to push forward here once again. He shut down that vulture attack towards his front third base there. And he's taking a really great position here. However, Sharp is holding the lane and keeping open the option of taking the extra bases here in the top center. That other main base may end up going to him. However, Barracks shoving forward here now towards the natural. If he gets a position out right in front of the natural where the rallies are coming from, this could be actually a winning situation here for Barracks.
Yeah, Sharp was kind of trying to play the super late game right now and switch over to Cloaked Wraith himself and use those Valkyries to kind of like try and checkmate Barracks by having both Valkyries and Cloaked Wraiths. But right now, Barracks has kind of hit this timing window right before there was enough Wraiths for Sharp to make this this manifest into a reality. So now Sharp's desperate and he's trying to use these couple of Wraiths that he's got to try and keep these forces at bay, but it's not enough. He didn't have enough time to build up enough of a Wraith count, and now Barracks is just closing the door on him right now, and Sharp is looking duller by the moment, Saiyan.
Yeah, he needs to actually pull back his forces in the middle of the map and try to stop this push from rolling him all the way back into his main base. Sharp only has 2 tanks here. He's starting to build up that Wraith count, but as soon as Goliath reaches his front line, Barracks should be able to stop that damage from coming out. There's 3 Wraiths here now. They're going to start to hit these tanks. Where are those Goliaths? There's the first Goliath making its way up here to the front. There's another one coming forward. And I think that Barracks is just going to be able to squeeze Sharp out of this game now with this forward position here. Maximum tanks just kind of spread out around the natural, not allowing reinforcements to come here and actually hold off any of this attack that's coming from Barracks.
Yeah, he's locked out this gas from being mined as well. So over the course of 4 minutes, 12 tanks will not be able to be made. So not being able to mine that 300 gas a minute from that geyser is going to be really painful for Sharp. And that gas deficit will start to amount to a much larger advantage for Barracks, even though he's already currently 60 supply ahead and has such a huge positional advantage over Sharp, both in terms of like map position, expansions, technology, army. Everything is going Barracks' way right now. Unfortunately for Sharp, he's just not able to kind of turn this around into a win, despite having such a valiant attempt at doing so.
Yeah, he's... Oh, wow. 4 dropships just showing up to the front line here. I don't know if that's what Barracks needs right now, but he's got that option as well. He's going to push up here and try to shut down this base on that false high ground. Meanwhile, Sharp's trying to use his vision advantage with the Wraiths to actually push out of the natural. Looks like GG is called, though. Barracks takes down Sharp in a very impressive TVT. That was really back and forth there. I thought the Sharp was going to be able to make that comeback, but the push towards the natural was devastating. Okay.
Okay. You want to take a quick break? I'll make a coffee and take a leak.
Sure, sounds good.
I'm gonna do spins, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, very well, sir. Yo,
You know,
how you doing, man?
yeah, how are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. So I don't think it's like our best cast or anything, but I think all things considered, it's pretty alright.
Seems good to me.
Hmm?
Seems good to me.
Yeah. We definitely rusty around the edges, and we had some connectivity issues, which kind of spoiled the ebb and flow of things a little bit. But other than that, I think it's pretty good. Mhm.
All right, you want to talk about the the spin here?
I'm joking. I had a biscuit in my mouth. Or cookie, as you would say in NA.
All right, taking a look at the bans here. We're gonna go ahead and get rid of that YSC versus Saxry matchup for Queen, and Cadenzi versus Toss Girl being banned for Team Hero. I think that's probably a wise choice. What do you think?
I think it's an exceptionally wise choice. I don't think there's not a ban that's a higher value right now than banning the Cadenzi. I think so. Very wise from Team Hero. And yeah, the YSC makes sense. And Saxry did seem to kind of manhandle YSC there, and also was like prepared for some interesting ways of playing. And I feel like YSC is probably going to be out of his element even in a rematch scenario. So yeah, probably wise to also ban that out. So I'm not too surprised by the bans. But what match would you like to see in this first spin here?
I'd love to see the Queen versus Hero rematch. Barracks versus Sharp's great as well. Zealot versus Mong could be a good match. Just depends on how well Mong can hold those Metalisk harassments in the future. Not sure though. I want to see that one. I'd really much rather see these last two, set 5 or set 6. How about you, Shun?
No, I concur with you as far as that's concerned. I think set 5 and 6 are going to be the most stellar games available to us.
All right, well, let's watch the spin. See if we get set 5 or set 6 here. Sorry, I don't know when it actually starts.
You can edit this up though, right?
Yeah, I'll edit it out. Okay. Here we go. Hold your breath, boys. Set number 3. Zealot versus Mong gonna be replayed here on La Compañía. Should be a fun match. Not the one I was hoping for, but let's jump in. Are we on exactly the same starting positions here again? I think that's right. Zealot here in the top right, Mong in the top left. This is completely the same as that set that they had before. We'll see if Zealot just goes for 2 Hachimute again. There's no reason to change things if it ain't broken. Am I right?
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And you are right saying this is identical positions, so it will be interesting to see how things will, navigate from here. I don't necessarily feel like Mong's gonna have the best chance of beating Zealot. It's not his strongest matchup, and someone of Zealot's caliber and his play style and his wheelhouse of potential is just so frustrating for someone like Mong to deal with. You need someone like Light or someone with more TVZ experience and knowledge to draw on to kind of navigate the little nuanced roads that Zealot likes to walk down. And if you can't navigate that absolutely flawlessly, you can just pull you apart with something that catches you off guard, or just purely better micro and execution. If you're not the most stellar at controlling your bio groups against those mutas in the early game, he will just overrun you. So someone like Mong can just get pulled apart and outplayed by the superior mechanics of Zealot.
All right, we know he's your boy. Okay, we're getting this one. We've got the wall here at the front once again. I'm looking at this game so far, and it's like exactly the same as the last one. Am I right? Like, I think we went for a 9 pool this time.
Yeah.
There might have been a little bit of a later pool in the last game, but it's almost exactly what we had last time. Okay, actually, 6 Ling's gonna hit the field right now, coming across the map. There is this wall in here. It is a Ling type wall, except for on the left-hand side there. He hasn't scouted the Ling's coming just yet because he didn't scout past the natural over there at the top right with his SCV, so he's going to be completely caught off guard. Needs to pull this SCV back, get it inside this wall right here, right now. This one Ling is going to be able to slip by, and the SCV goes down right away, pulling a lot of SCVs here to the front line, but the second Marine going to go down. Is it just going to be a really quick victory here for Zealot? It sure is looking like that.
Yeah, Zealot just metagamed Mong like crazy, and Mong basically metagamed himself with this style of scouting as well. Also going to be catching the Marine as it pops out by setting this little Ling trap, but Mong going to try and desperately do a drill. Beautiful drill from Mong though, catches the Lings, can maybe make something happen here. Good surround on the Lings, but not quite able to catch all of them with their fusion cutters, and now the Marine finally out of the barracks, but in the safe arms of the SCV, going to be able to maybe get back to his bunker. Needs to be careful not to lose that Marine before the bunker vision does able to finish that up and get into the bunker safely, but now this supply depot can be hit from the south, so forces that Marine out of the bunker for the time being. Maybe some further aggression can be levied against Mong, but I don't think that's going to be successful. There's just 7 Lings remaining at his disposal, and I think he's going to be transitioning from here, but it was a nice little early aggression for him, putting on some pressure on Mong and really stretching him thin, and now it's a very weird game to navigate from having such an early game disadvantage and not quite able to know the exact timings of when things should be being made. It's very difficult to kind of line things up nicely when you've lost this many SCVs and mining time in the early game.
You know what? This goes right back into what you said at the beginning of this cast, is that there are so many different pathways that you can walk, and players like Mong might not, know all the nuanced timings when things get a little bit crazy in the early game. Looks like he killed one of his own Lings there, maybe to make a little room for an extra drone to pop out there. But yeah, right now in this situation, as Mong, you're going to be pretty confused as to kind of where exactly you are and what your timing should be. This scout is definitely going to help, though. Getting in here and seeing that spire, that is a huge tell for him. That should kind of orient him as to where he needs to be in this match. Oh my god, look at this. A huge line of SCVs getting pulled right now. It's being spotted by Zealot. He's pulling all the boys here. What is this from Mong? Mong just wanting to end the game right now? 2 creep colonies are going to be made. And, I mean, with these 2 creeps finishing, I think he should just hold this, right?
Yes, he should just fail here. And this is a big miss micro. Mong should just die. But there is a chance that he can somehow kill this Sunken in time. It just won't happen, though. With any kind of micro, he should win. Good surface area on those Lings. Sunken going to finish up. Does try and target that fire down with the remaining Marines, but it's just not going to be enough DPS to get through the HP of those Sunkens with the armor value as well. Only doing 5 damage a hit with the natural regen of the Sunkens as well, and the additional Lings and drones providing support. There's just no way for that DPS of the Marines and the SCVs to cut through that in time. So yeah, unfortunately for Mong, that's going to be completely deflected. There was a lot of investment in that defense, so it does kind of stifle the timing of the mutas now as a result. So there is a much weaker muta counterattack that's going to happen, but it doesn't matter. Mong hasn't even got a natural expansion. He's only just now building his engineering base, so it's kind of a dire situation for him still.
Yeah, he's I mean, maybe if he didn't see all of the SCVs coming, he might have been able to break through, but at the moment you see those SCVs being pulled, you know that Mong is completely all in, and building a couple of sunken colonies to hold that off. It's a huge commitment, but it's definitely worth it. Zealot's now going to be able to transition here into making. I think he's got like 5-6 meters on the way here. He definitely had around 500 or 600 gas. So he should be able to start harassing here, and the turrets aren't even done. The Marine's got no upgrades, no range, no stim. We've got no medics here either, and it should just be a straightforward victory for Zealot from here.
Yeah, he's done a great job today, has Zealot, and making the likes of Mong look a little bit silly, but it's not really Mong's fault. It's not Mong's best matchup, and Zealot is just the kind of player that's so annoying to have to deal with, and he just doesn't know how to walk these roads. He's basically trying to navigate the dark right now, whereas Zealot's got street lamps like every 10 meters, whereas Mong is just blind. And unfortunately, that's going to lead to a disastrous situation like this, where Zealot's just having a field day, like he's playing against some scrub on the ladder. Meanwhile, it's actually a pro gamer. It's just he's just so experienced in walking these strange pathways through the jungle, and Mong just hasn't got a clue.
Yeah, it's exactly as you say. You know, Zealot just made this game weird, and Mong, you know, doesn't have that experience. To know that you can't just pull SCVs at that point in the game and try to win. There's going to be sunken colonies finishing up in time to hold that off, and you know, Ling's popping out also helped out quite a bit. But you know, he tried it. He did his best. Mong is going to have to tap out here, though. There's just no way to get enough turrets up to stay alive here and actually get a natural out. You know, Zealot is already fully on 2 hatch muta here. He doesn't have to do anything except for make mutas and just focus on breaking Mong. And Mong has to do everything at the same time. He's got to build, you know, turrets. He's got to build that command center. GG. Yeah, there's just no way. Mong taps out, and Zealot takes another nice little victory here. So setting us back to that wheel.
이제부터 또
다른
진짜가 시작됩니다.
지나간 것은
Oh,
That's
no,
over.
that was the win.
That's 5. Yeah, that's 5. I thought you made a mistake. I was like, wait a minute. You have to redo that.
It's okay. I'll just cut out the part where I said, I just said it's a nice little victory, and then I'll go to the score screen.
I could just imagine
No
us
worries,
like,
no worries.
imagine if we were like casting an event like that live. I could just imagine like our faces of you saying that and me kind of like looking over to you like shifty eyed, like, I think we won. Oh man,
It's okay.
if you were
I
doing
hope someday we do get to that.
Yeah.
I hope someday we get to cast an event together. Shouldn't that be amazing? But
yeah, be pretty fun.
I hope that won't happen. Team Queen win. Damn.
Damn.
Let me take a look on KCM's Africa TV page, see if I can find any info about the next round or the finals.
Yeah, okay.
No, I don't think I see anything here. No, he doesn't. He hasn't put up any messages. Hmm,
No messages?
no messages. Oh,
Oh,
there's something.
what we got?
Aha! I found it.
Aha.
Okay. 1 second. You see that?
Yep. It's 4th of December. Okay. How long? So 4th of December means we'll be casting it the 5th or not?
Yeah, if we can.
Okay. Yeah, that should be fine. Yeah. No, that's cool.
That's actually pretty perfect because the BSL runs until the 12th.
Yeah.
It's like the 8th or 9th until the 12th.
Hmm.
Oh,
That's,
it'll
nice
BSL will
pocket.
just be wrapping up.
And then we've got
Yeah,
that kicking
in
off
that
again.
pocket.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice little pocket to slide into.
All right, let me just check and see, make sure I know which teams these are.
Okay. Do you have a little cheat sheet for like it yet? Where you got like the Korean and then like the English phonetics next to the Korean. You can just like look at the letters and quickly match it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So match 1's going to be light, team light,
Okay.
versus team soul. No, team queen. So team light versus team queen, and then match 2 is going to be team hero versus team Bisu, maybe? Hold on. Yeah, I guess it's going to be team hero versus team Bisu.
Nice. Okay. Pretty good first couple of matches.
I wonder if that says winner or loser.
It does. Well, you mean which is which? It says winner and
Yeah.
loser. It says winner and loser, but I can't tell you which is which. I imagine it's winner on the top and loser on the bottom.
I typed in I typed in winner and loser, and it doesn't match for either one. So
Dustin
trying to write it.
Dustin says, "Does Korean work like Chinese? You just throw a plate on the floor, and that's how you say the word."
No.
Yeah, I don't know about that
And
one.
that's not how Chinese works. Okay. So the top is the loser. Match 1, loser versus match 2, winner.
Okay. How are you, Dustin, mate? You alright?
Okay, you ready to talk about this?
Sure.
All right, and with that final win from Zealot, Team Queen takes that victory away. I don't know how impactful that win is going to be because we've got our final lineup here. The grand finals, the playoffs are going to be starting in the upcoming week. We've got match 1. I know it's all in Korean, but I've got the translation here. It's going to be Team Light versus Team Queen. That's going to be played on December 4th. Then we're going to go to Team Hero versus Team Bisu on December 6th. And then for match 3, the losers of match number 1 versus the winners of match number 2. And on the match 4 on the December 13th, going to be the winners of match 1 versus the losers of match 2. And then beyond that, I don't know where we're gonna go with this playoffs. I guess that's not gonna be the end, is it, Shun?
No, I don't think that is gonna be the end. And who knows when the end will be for this league, this game. We will be going on for decades, saying we might be 50 years old still talking about this. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm sure that we're going to have a winner here sometime before the end of December. I'm just not sure when it's going to be. Thank you guys for bearing with us here. It's been quite the adventure. We're still kind of learning about the overall format here, and we still don't have confirmation on the total prize pool either.
Yeah, but I tell you what, though, I've been kind of like, this has been growing on me. Like, I wasn't too sure about the format initially, but I've come to love it a little bit. It's certainly not the same for me as the other race war format, but I do like it so far, and it's definitely growing on me.
Yeah, this format very reminiscent of Pro League. I feel like in the regular race war format, you can't really prepare too well for an individual opponent. You really just have to prepare your overall skills because you never know who you're going to go up against, and if you end up getting on a roll, you're going to have to continually fight to stay on top. But in this way, we're really able to gain value from our teammates, practice with our teammates and develop strategies that are going to be able to upset some power imbalances that we find in these matches. And it's been growing on me as well. I think it's an interesting take from KCM, and this playoffs should be some of the best games that we've seen so far. We've kind of gotten rid of the chaff here. We've taken the wheat now, and we've got the greatest teams from this season of KCM that are going to be going head to head in what seems like quite a few different matches here.
Yeah, so we're going to have the cream of the crop, going to be going head to head, and seeing who's going to be the absolute cream of the cream, king of kings. Yeah, with the format, it does kind of give us like a simulated pro gamer house type, era vibe, and I really do like that. I do like that, they've got these like, pools of players that can train and help each other out, prepare for specific matchups against specific players, and we saw like with the game with Saxry, and he completely did something completely unorthodox to his usual play style and completely threw YSC off. And you're not going to see those kind of games in Race War usually. So I do think it will afford us overall higher quality games going forward, even if the format doesn't seem too great on the surface for some of you guys. I feel like it's kind of like a diamond in the rough type situation, and we're not quite realizing the value that we've got here.
All right, and with that, we're going to sign off here. Playoffs are coming very, very soon, guys, so I hope you're excited. That first match with Team Light versus Team Queen. Just 3 days away from now. So I hope you're hype. What am I going to say? How am I going to close this out?
I love how you're saying, like, I hope you're hype while you're distracted and don't know what to say. You're saying it in, like, really low energy way. Keep that in. I'm joking. Oh, that's funny, man.
It's embarrassing. This isn't easy, guys. All of you guys in chat,
Yeah.
go ahead and try it. Try to make a broadcast yourself.
Yeah.
This shit is hard.
It's a lot of moving parts. Imagine doing this live, man. Oh man, like you'd have to do some rehearsal type stuff and have a whole system in place. But we need like code. We need like sign. Like we need to take like Morse code lessons to be able to communicate with each other. Imagine if we were like sat down at like a desk and we had to like do this, right? I'd want to be able to communicate with you in a way that like we wouldn't disrupt the cast. So we need to like learn sign language or like Morse code or something. You know what I mean?
I think you can communicate just with your eyes if you're in person a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I
and like body language and stuff.
So if I stare at you long and hard enough, maybe you'll catch my drift.
Yeah, it's like I need you to take over. The eye movement.
Yeah, 2 blinks means help.
Yeah. All right.
Dustin says nothing like your homie giving you a good knee rub. I don't know, Dustin, my guy. We're not going to do any fanfic caster stuff, okay? Let's not even go there. God damn.
Save it for the Artosis DTS, okay?
Yeah,
we don't need any of that over here.
Yeah, we're okay over here. We're all stocked up and crazy, right?
We don't need any Luigi fanfiction or whatever it is.
Yeah, like Mario fanfic of like Peach and Bowser and shit. Yeah. God damn.
God damn.
Yeah, some of that shit's wild.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna listen to it back, and I'll do another recording to close it out.
Okay.
Once I've edited the ending, you know what I mean? I'll know how much time I need to fill, or like put it in words a little bit better.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Make it smooth.
Make it smoothie.
Oh, you know what? I had my freaking fan on again. God damn it! I turned it on when we went for tea, and then I forgot to turn it off. Probably gonna be in the background now.
Maybe.
Did you hear it?
I didn't notice it that much, though. To be fair, maybe it won't be so intrusive as you'd think. Is there any way you could, if it is, is there any way you can mess with the audio and like kind of like do a little bit of noise cancellation on it or at all, or like is there any way you can mess with the audio to kind of like reduce it a little bit, or would you just have to deal with it?
I can do some things, but it's not going to be perfect.
it'll still be weird, right? Even if you do manage to get rid of some
It'll
of
still
it.
be a little bit.
Yeah.
It'll still be there a little bit in the background. But it was only for the last game, I guess, wasn't it?
Maybe, yeah. Yeah.
Or was it the?
No, it was the last game, I think.
Because we had one spin and then the last game. I think so.
I think so too. Oh, before you go, do you want to show me your base on Auction Uncle? Why here?
Sure. Sure. Let's see.
Because I still haven't looked up like any guides or nothing. So if you like saw my base, you would just like laugh. You'd be like, "What the fuck is that?"
Yeah, it's a learning experience every time you play.
Yeah.
There's so many moving parts. Yeah, it's a headache.
I mean, I've literally only just discovered now that I can research and make those like blast doors to like keep gas out to like actually stop areas getting like completely fucked up and shit.
Starting to like figure out how to handle carbon dioxide and stuff like that.
Slowly but surely figuring it out myself. I'm sure if I watched a video about how it all worked, I'd probably figure it out way quicker, but I've just been kind of like freestyling it and playing up a little here and there.
Yeah, I did mostly freestyle until what was I doing? I think I died like once or twice to like running out of oxygen, and then I searched it up like how to balance carbon dioxide and oxygen, and then I found out that there's like SPOM and all that stuff.
There's like what?
Here, I'll show you. SPOM, SPOM, like a self-powered.
Oh, okay, yeah. I remember you told me about that acronym.
Oxygen machine.
So it's like it's probably it's just like self-powered in the sense of like it's self-sufficient, like what it creates runs itself, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I kind of figured that's what it would be.
Can you see my base?
Yeah, I can see.
So, like, I've got oxygen, and like, okay, so I can't really zoom out any further, but you can see that basically abyssal light, it works as like a insulator, and then I kind of insulate around the entire base like this, and make myself like a inside the house, you know what I mean? And then outside is out here. So
right.
you put Atmos suits, and then you make like an opening so that you can go out into the world, and like then I don't have to control out here. I only control oxygen and heat and temperature.
Yeah, so it's completely
and all that
sealed.
stuff just inside here. Yeah, it's pretty well sealed. Like there's a few little openings, but they're not. It's not a big deal. So here's a spawn build for you like this. This is like a larger one. I got some like back pressure in here, damage from overloading, but that's like my electrical grid because this actually produces more power than it uses.
Right.
So I was trying to use some of the power, the extra power to do some things, and
extra?
I ended up overloading. I don't know. It depends. It's a weird. It's kind of like.
So you haven't kind of
depends.
dialed
Like
in on
also,
it yet.
I haven't fully dialed in on it, and it's like if the like your dupes use a certain amount of oxygen, right? And then if the oxygen amount is more than your dupes are using, then eventually you will overpressure with oxygen, and then this whole thing will stop working because there's too much oxygen. I think that's what's happening right now. So like, look, I've got oxygen flowing throughout my whole base from here, and it's overpressured, so it's not able to like vent.
Yeah.
So then I'm not actually producing more power. Do you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. And once it's backed up, everything stops.
So the thing that you probably haven't looked at all is where is it here?
What?
Automation. Have you taken a look at automation at all?
No, I've not even played long enough to like. I've seen it on the research tree. Like I saw like switches and stuff and like signals and stuff like that. But I had a feeling like there was some kind of automation, but I didn't know how. Didn't research it yet.
Right. So the first thing that you want to do with automation is get smart batteries and connect them to your generators. So like your generator, like for example, right here, this is like my early game electricity generator. I'm actually still using it right now because I've still got a ton of coal. My coal is really, really high right now because I'm using hatch ranching. So basically, you build pretty much just like this, where you've got the airflow tiles here, and then your little base around here, or your little walls around here. And this like contains all of the CO2 or the carbon. And what I like to do is just basically put the high heavy watt wires in here, and then you put an automation wire connecting your smart battery to your two generators, and as soon as you connect that, the smart battery has like a threshold, and as soon as the battery gets to that threshold, these generators turn off.
Ah, okay.
And then once the power goes down to a certain level, to the low threshold, then the generators turn back on. So it allows you to not waste resources.
So it's like a boiler, like a boiler that heats a house or something. You know what I mean?
Not really, but yeah, something
like
that.
Like a boiler in the sense of like when it gets to a certain threshold, the boiler turns off, and then like when it's not hot enough, it turns back on again.
Maybe.
No, I get what you're saying.
What's wrong? Anyway, and then you make the room like this certain size, because there's another thing is rooms give bonuses to morale, and also bonuses. There's other bonuses as well. So, for example, power plant is a room, and it has certain conditions. Like you have a power control station, and it has to have a minimum size of 12 and a maximum size of 96. So you can see here.
Is the size including the walls or the interior only? The interior only.
Just the interior, just what you can see here as the yellow is included.
Okay.
So, for example, for here, like I should probably have moved this over. Just have the ladder here, but I think it still works. I've got the power plant here, and the control station. The dupes will come in here and use the power control station to create, like, they use refined metal to create a, what's it called? A microchip, and then they use the microchip on your power plant, and it like increases its what's it called, efficiency. So like it produces more electricity using less coal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so these type of benefits are really important. Like, for example, I've got my bedrooms here, luxury barracks. It has certain conditions that you have to meet, but you can make like a regular barracks as well, and it gives +2 morale. Then you've got like a bathroom here. There's certain things that you have to do. Great hall, hospital, kitchen, nature reserve, washroom, another power plant. And then, of course, these are stables, but we'll get into that in a minute. You kind of want to make as many rooms like this as you can, because they give morale bonuses.
Right.
You know, stress relief, quarantine, efficiency bonus, all that type of stuff. So, those things will really help you to kind of survive as you go forward because you want to keep your stress as low as possible.
Mhm.
And your dupes, like, they can learn skills, but if they have their skill is higher than their morale, so like here, if you need a certain amount of morale, and every time you get a skill, it adds the amount of morale that you need.
Right,
And
and
if
that's
the
based on
if
tier
you're
as well. So the higher tier skills take up more points as well.
That's right. So like if you go too high and the morale need is higher than your actual morale, then your dupes are gonna start freaking out and doing stupid shit.
Okay.
Like for example, some of them will like break stuff. Some of them will like go around crying and everything. Like depends on the dupe. Yeah,
So
they'll
it's-
do really stupid, annoying shit.
Yeah, so it's almost
Huh?
like they need to be psychologically sound to handle a wide array of responsibilities, and if they're not, they go crazy a bit, kind of thing.
Exactly. If they have too many responsibilities and they're not psychologically stable, then they're gonna fall apart.
That makes sense. It's good game design.
Yeah. It's interesting. For sure. And yeah, that's like the real basics. I'll show you my other. So basically, once you get out into the world, start searching around, you can find there's volcanoes, there's like geysers and stuff like that that'll help you to get like infinite resources. For example, water is like a big resource that you're gonna need, and what I've set up here is I've got a geyser here, cool slush. It drops the water down into this, and then I can use it to, um, make oxygen and that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Those are like your infinite resources. So cool slush geyser, the natural gas geyser. Um, Here's another one, polluted water vent. Those type of things will like uh, activate every certain amount of cycles to give you infinite resource. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, so that's like your long game taps that you need to get into eventually.
Yeah, you just find out which ones you have and then try to utilize them um, to prevent yourself from running out of those resources, those critical resources like water, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually using water, sending it to my other bases because there's these things called like these teleporters. Teleporters are just randomly around the map. Like you'll find one of these in your initial base, and once you use it, send your guy through to another base, and that one should have oil if you're playing on the regular map, and it's a lot smaller as well too. So this is my second base. I actually built a starship here and got down into the oil domain. So here's oil. Basically, you have to build oil wells and you have to use water to create oil. And then I'm using oil to make what's this called again? Petroleum. And then petroleum, you can use petroleum to build a starship. You can use petroleum to make plastic as well. And plastic is like a kind of a later game resource that you really need to advance further on. But it makes a lot of heat, so you really want to make it outside of your base. Like we can see the heat here. It's really hot outside of my base right now. And even the plastic that I'm bringing into my base is really hot. So yeah, this is like I'm like kind of mid game-ish. I'm not really that good. Like I'm trying to figure things out still. But I managed to get to a third base as well. It's kind of just starting out, but you can see a lot more rudimentary. I just have immediately I set up barracks here,
Yeah.
set up a kitchen, great hall just to get the morale bonus going because I know that I need trained dupes that have like really good skills. But you can't have the good skills unless you have good morale.
Right.
So what you need to do is try to maneuver ways to get that morale bonus up, and the best way is really to
How early on
get
are you doing that then?
rooms.
Like, are you doing like super early? Like, are you going like for? I guess the barracks aren't too hard to get set up early.
Yeah, super easy to get that set up. Barracks and your little like the rooms for eating.
Mm-hmm.
You set those up. That's really easy. I get that very, very early on. The kitchen you don't really need for quite some time. That's only for using the spice grinder. The bathroom is really easy as well. You can't like the lavatory, sorry, washroom is a little harder because you need pipes and water.
Yeah.
But latrine is really simple. You just need a toilet, so just a regular toilet's fine.
Right.
And that just boosts up your morale and just it helps your keep things, keep things moving forward. You're not like what's it called? Worrying about your guys like freaking out, losing their minds.
Yeah.
And you can get good skills. You can get your skills up. And also like one thing to say as well is that it's not really necessary to always upgrade or to always like what's it called? Get more dupes. That's what I was gonna say. Sorry. Like you can keep getting duplicates every certain amount of cycles. You get a new one.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really necessary to get a lot of guys, and you'll end up falling into some really serious problems. It's better to like stick around maybe 8 to 10. I think I'd never go much higher than that. I once did it where I was just at the beginning of my playthroughs, I was going to like 20, 25 on one base, and it's pretty hard to handle, but
Yeah.
it's just not necessary. You don't need it. You really don't need it.
Well, can you get rid of them? Like, once you get them, can you not just get rid of them? Like, say if you're like,
Well, if you kill them, if you let them die, then everyone gets like a negative morale bonus for a certain number of cycles. So it's okay. You can do it, but everyone gets stressed out if you start killing your guys. Makes sense, right? Hello? Hello?
can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
I think I accidentally muted. I was talking. Yeah, so it doesn't sound like it's very optimal to do it that way, but at least I guess it's viable if you really wanted to.
To do what? Sorry?
To like
kill them?
kill
Okay,
them.
yeah.
I guess you wouldn't want to though, like ideally though, right? Like
Yeah, it's good to just like keep, like 6 to 10 and have them all really high skilled with really high morale, and they move. They also like their skills go up, they move faster, like their run speed goes up, their athletics goes up, like they can carry more, they can move faster, they can do more, like they just become better and better, over time. So yeah,
and
keeping them alive is like really important.
yeah. Is there any way you can like accelerate how much experience they're getting and like accelerate how fast they're leveling and stuff and get them like faster?
I haven't found a way. I haven't found a way yet.
Hmm.
But there's one more thing I wanted to talk to you about, by the way. Hatch
Yes.
ranching. So you've seen hatches before, right? This is actually stone hatch. So what you can do is you build a room like this, and you can actually put a ton of different stuff in here. So like I put all of my for example, what are these storage containers and stuff in here because they don't conflict with the room, and because the hatches are in here, you'll run out of build space. You know what I mean? Like you won't have enough room for everything if you just leave the rooms. If you don't like put in buildings that aren't conflicting. Do you know what I mean? Like you can't put storage, I don't think, inside of a bedroom and also you want to use all of the floor space for beds, right? But
Mhm.
in the stables, I found that you can put a lot of different stuff, and it doesn't really change anything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so like there's certain
So
things
anyway,
where it's like you disrupt it if you try and like mix and match it messes with it, but for whatever reason the stable you can kind of like do whatever and it's okay.
yeah, it seems to be that way. So you make the stable, and then I believe it's 8 with this size. The max size here is 96, and you put 8 hatches in the room, and then you build a critter feeder. You have to find hatch, and then click some of the buttons. But as you can see here, stone hatch can eat igneous rock and granite.
It's
So
pretty good.
that's like it's a pretty like um a resource that you have a lot of, right? So when you start with a hatch, you can kind of feed it like sedimentary rock, maybe some sandstone, something like that. But those are
Yeah.
things that you actually want to use for building material. Whereas igneous rock is like there's a lot of it, and need uh you don't need it all or you don't really need all of it. You can just use it. And so the hatches, they eat the rock and they poop coal. So then you have coal for you get coal for
Right.
your
Coal power.
for your power plants, right?
Yeah.
And you can basically, if you have like what I have here, which is like 2 to 3 stables, like let's say you have 2, I can't remember exactly how many this can feed, but you basically just make it so that you have calories coming in. Like you just make sure that you don't go below like 50,000 calories, and you should be fine.
Mm.
What I do is I set up like this, and then I set up 2 incubators. And what the incubators do is they accelerate the speed that the eggs hatch. And so I set up 2 incubators like this, and then put them on a higher order assignment.
Right.
And then I've got this egg cracker, which is on a lower assignment. And so whenever an egg pops out, the dupes will take it to the incubator. And if they can't take it to the incubator, then they'll crack it and you'll get an egg, and then they can make it into a meal.
Yeah, so that way
See what
the
I'm saying?
incubators are always full and the surplus are getting made
Yeah.
into food.
That's right. That's right. So then with this system, I basically have infinite coal, and I have like a basically infinite egg as well, as
So
long as I have igneous rock,
so
and there's a lot of igneous
so
rock.
that's power and food basically taken care of, at least at a baseline.
Yeah, so I still need,
So what water
it's
then? What
basically
oxygen and
it's your
shit?
basic build.
What about oxygen and shit? Like, how are
Um,
you like doing that long term? Like,
Basically this. So I've got this infinite cool slush geyser, right?
right?
And the water comes down here. And when the water lands here, then it's pumped
Mm-hmm.
into, where is it? Oh, actually, I'm getting more water from somewhere else. I don't remember where I get the water from now. Where am I getting it from? Let's see. Yeah, I actually don't remember. Oh yeah, I've got water coming from down here. But basically, what you want to do is you find a source of water, and then you get the water into usable form, which is through a water sieve. So you want to get one of these. This changes polluted water into regular water,
Oh, okay.
and then you just send it through your spawn, your self-powered oxygen machine, and that will basically just give you infinite oxygen. And this is enough for more than 9. I think it's enough for 10, maybe 12 duplicates. I'm not sure,
Nice.
but it's more than I need. And then as you get further along, once you've got the food going here with the stable, and then you've got the oxygen rolling here, with your water coming through, and your power generation working, then you're going to be dealing with heat. Heat is the other killer, the thing that can end up screwing you over, because plants and animals, they have a certain heat threshold. I don't know which one or what the highest temperature is that these guys can handle. I think it's pretty high. But let's see, melting point. I don't know if they can handle
10,000.
I don't know how high they can handle.
Well, if they
But,
melt at 10,000 C, it's pretty good.
Pretty good, yeah. But a lot of things will melt in your base, and your duplicates won't like it if it goes above 30.
I think a lot of things melt at 10,000 degrees centigrade.
Yeah. Yeah, so you want to get into this. This is the next stage, like the what would you say? Like the late, or not late game, it's like a mid game, mid to late game cooling mechanism. So a thermal aquatuner, what you need first is steel. So you get steel by making iron. So you have to get iron first, and you get that from iron ore. You make that into iron, and then you get steel with lime and refined carbon. So to make lime, you have to get it from eggshells, which is amazing because you already have lots of eggshells from this setup. Basically, you just crush. You use a crusher, rock crusher, and you just make eggshell into lime. Very simple. And then you want to find a location where you want heat. So I usually put it outside my base. This is my area for building, or for plants that need a really high temperature. So I just use this to make refined carbon endlessly. It turns coal into refined carbon, and it just makes a lot of heat. And then you can make steel. And once you have steel, you can make this setup. And basically, it's super, super hot in here. And what that thermal aquatuner does is it takes in water or any liquid. And I like to use polluted water. I think that's the best. It takes in polluted water, and it spits out 10 degrees cooler polluted water. Or was it 8? I think it might be 8 degrees cooler water. Something like that. So it lowers the temperature of the water by like 8 to 10 degrees. Let's see here. Oh, it might be even more than that. Hold on. Something like that. And then it lowers that temperature, and it ejects the heat into the area around it. So it like sucks in hot water, puts out cold water, and then just like heats the air around the aquatuner. So what you do is you basically fill a small room like this size, full of water, and then you completely seal the room, and with the aquatuner inside, you turn it on and feed it water, and it heats up this room so hot that it all turns to steam.
Right.
And then you put a steam turbine on top of it, and the steam will power this turbine. So the turbine sucks in the steam and outputs the water. And let me see here. What is it? How much energy does it generate? 850 watts. So it's a little bit less than the aquatuner actually takes. So it doesn't power itself, but it does like something, you know, it's not
It's like
it's not
70%.
completely
It's like almost. It's good
yeah.
enough.
Yeah, it's not I don't know if you can I don't think you can put 2 steam tuners on one aquatuner or steam turbine on one aquatuner. I'm not sure though. To like boost that a little bit, but yeah. It kind of powers itself to a small degree. And um this will be like your setup for cooling things down. I have like a really weird one right now because I need more polluted water. So I was sucking polluted water out of here, which is very hot, and then I was cooling it and then sending it through my base and also sending it to my other base. So I was kind of like splitting up the water.
Yeah.
And like I don't really need water in my base, but I wanted to cool things down because it's all very complicated. I'm actually sending oil back through from my other base. So this base doesn't really have a source of infinite water. So I need to get water somehow. So I send water through to this base, and then I send oil back through to the other phase. So you do that with a teleporter, and the teleporters are like randomly placed, so it's kind of hard to find them. Or like it's kind of hard to plan. Like here's the teleporter that brings things into this world, and then this is the one that sends them back to the other world. I know that's all very confusing, but yeah,
It is a little bit confusing, but I'm getting most of what you're saying.
Right, so I've got another aquatuner set up here, and it looks like this is about to break, and this is actually the worst thing that can happen to your setup, by the way. If your aquatuner breaks, if your aquatuner setup
get
breaks,
in there and repair it.
You can't get in there and repair it without releasing like an insane amount of heat because it's so hot in there, right?
So what you do is it just like quarantined and like you never go in there. You just leave it there until you can deal with the heat later on, or what?
Yeah, just leave it. Basically, I don't know another way to deal with it. It's just kind of fucked.
Is there any way you can like suck
so
out
like
the heat and redistribute it somehow?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I had an instance where this broke, and I had to like I tried opening it and like letting the heat out, but it took so long. It filled up this whole area and like heated up my whole base, and everything was dying. So I was like, okay, well, I got to restart. I just went back to before it broke and figured out why it broke, and I realized the reason is if the output gets blocked. So like, let's say this output is blocked. So it goes like this, right? If the output this way is blocked, then the water that's coming in right here is in a very hot room. And if the water is sitting in this pipe right here, then it will eventually get so hot that it turns to steam, and then it damages the pipe. So you have to keep it flowing. Do you know what I mean? Like otherwise, this will get too hot. The water in the pipe will get too hot. So
right.
What I did to fix that is if this starts to get blocked, then I just turn off the water, and then it doesn't get blocked. You know what I mean? Then it doesn't stay there.
You
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I have like a crazy setup here. So like the water comes from this pool over here. It gets cooled by the aquatuner. It cools down the steam turbine, and then it goes up here. It cools off my air. This is my other SPOM air producer. And then it comes through here and cools down some of the area that's being heated up by gasoline, the gasoline that I've created. Because gasoline's super hot when it comes out. And then it goes back down to the so basically the aquatuner, you can use it like this. You've got a big thing of water, your main water source. You send the water into the aquatuner, and then you send the cooled water wherever you need cooling. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if there's some area in your base where it's like, oh, you know, this area is really hot or this area is really hot, you just have to find a way to send the, like, look at how cool it is up here, right? Very, very cool. And here, wherever I sent that water from the aquatuner, it just cooled everything down. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. There's like a water cooling system in a PC almost.
Yeah. Yeah, same sort of concept. And those are the basics, man. I mean, there's so much like nuance inside there, but you'll learn as time goes on. Like and as you make mistakes and stuff. There's also like there's plug slugs on these other planets and stuff. There's so many weird, crazy, animals and plants, and yeah, everything has like a different. They've all got their like different nuances and ways to use them and all that stuff. It's crazy, man. It's a really wild game. It gets really complicated.
Yeah. I mean, I did kind of get that vibe, even though I've like barely touched it. I do like that. I also really like the aesthetic of the game in terms of like the art style and how it looks and plays and stuff. It's really good.
Yeah, it's fun. It is fun. These things are crazy, man. These little animals here. It's the first playthrough that I was able to use them. They only function at night. Like during the day they do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But if you put a wire like this at night, they will charge your batteries. Pretty freaking cool. Here you'll see when we get to night, but they put out like an insane amount of power. And then what I did was I set up solar panels. So solar panels charge everything during the day, and then plug slugs charge everything at night. Pretty sick system.
That's pretty sick. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. And
then they also make eggs, so I can use the eggs to make food.
Yeah.
It all works on itself. Oh my god, I've got so many down here.
It's basically like you're creating like an ecosystem, right? Like you want like a self-contained, self-sustaining ecosystem of both engineering and life forms like this and stuff. Like, you know.
Yeah, you want to have as like long-lasting, as sustainable as possible.
Yeah.
System.
A sustainable biomechanical system. Because
every time you want to do something else, like let's say you want to take a you want to use a spaceship to explore, right? You've decided to go to the stars. Like I've got a spaceship out here, kind of exploring around, and like every time you want to add something on, everything becomes like that much more complicated. So each system that you introduce, you have to make it as simple and as sustainable as possible. Otherwise, you're gonna have to keep going back to that thing over and over again to like try to fix what's broken.
Right.
And then, you know, you're not gonna have time to build on things. Like you wanna set things up so it won't break on you, so that you can.
It's like the best way to be lazy is to do it right the first time, so you don't have to keep going back to it. So like the best, you kind of like incentivized to like really forward think about it.
Yeah, so take a look at this. Power 1600 watts per slug.
Damn.
At night.
Damn.
So basically I set up all these batteries around, and they just like charge that shit right up.
Nice. Look at that.
At night.
Dude. That's pretty poppin'.
It's a pretty good system.
Yeah,
good system, and I've got it set up so that it charges just enough to where they're all full.
Satisfying.
And then they wake up, and then the sun takes over in the morning.
I like it.
Pretty funny that there's day and night outdoors. Well, it doesn't really make sense, but
I guess you could argue it's like slowly rotating, so it's on kind of like it
right.
rotates facing it during the day. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. It's like rotating. Yeah, you could argue that. I guess that's on the dark. Like those solar panels are like on the dark side at night, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's funny. There's a lot of silliness in the game. There's a lot of funny moments. It's like, what the hell is that? But
I think I noticed something about
it's typical.
I think I noticed something about the fluid dynamics. Like, if you look at the weight of the fluid, I think is it like the deeper it is, the slightly more weight of the fluid. Like, if you look at the actual blocks of fluid inside, I think it like goes up by like 10 kilograms each depth.
Possible.
Yeah, see, like it's like 110 and 120.
Yeah.
See that? So based on like pressure.
Yeah.
It's an interesting
Right.
subtle difference there. I noticed that.
Yeah. There's so much nuance to this game, man. It's crazy. And like the way that the gases move. You know what I mean? Like how they get trapped in these little areas, and then like they slowly like kind of drift around,
gas pockets,
and kind of find holes, gas pockets that move. You can see like he's breathing, the CO2 kind of like migrates around, eventually gets down to the lowest point, and then you have like a collection of CO2. It's interesting, man. It's really wild.
It's an interesting game, yeah. Like I barely experienced it, but what I have experienced is definitely like pretty fascinating. I like the game overall. It's a good game stuff.
Yeah. Well, have fun, man. Dive into it.
I will do.
Enjoyed the shit out of it. I actually played it too much. What am I at now? 244 hours. God damn.
I left my game running a lot, so I have no idea.
You're at 50 hours. I'm 5 times.
But I haven't played 50 hours. I've barely played I played like 5 hours. You know what I mean? Like I've left the game running a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's been times where I've just like left the game running and gone to sleep and just left it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm not playing a lot. Probably.
Yeah, I've done that. I've done that a few times.
Yeah, I'm close to like 5 to 10 hours actual game time.
Gotcha. Wow. You can't really get into it in 5 hours, man. That's pretty.
No, I literally was on like
baseline.
I did a couple of quick restarts like right at the start, but now I'm on like, I don't know, like not even day 20 yet. Do you know what I mean? Like I haven't played that much.
Right.
Yeah, on my new one, I mean.
All right. Well, I'm gonna put this one together.
All right, buddy.
Get this KCM out. I guess I'll see you in like 2 days, 3 days, something like that.
Yeah. It won't be out on Monday though, will it be? We'll do it on Tuesday. Although, wait, will that be Monday night for me, or will that not be? I'm confused.
Not sure.
Would it be like I cast Monday midnight, or would it be like I cast Tuesday midnight?
Let's see. Final is I would want to cast Tuesday my time.
Tuesday your time would be Monday. Tuesday morning. Then that'd be Monday midnight.
Morning, so Monday night. Yeah. Your time.
Yeah.
We could do Tuesday if you want to.
We'll see.
I'll let you know when I got the download.
Okay, buddy.
All right.
Sounds good.
Oh, it's a little rough waking up at 7.
Yeah.
Not used to it.
Did good though, man.
Not for long.
Your base is pretty cool though. I like it.
Thanks. Yeah, it's like maybe my like 6th playthrough, something like that, 7th maybe.
Yeah, I can tell you've got some stuff pretty optimized out.
It's funny. It's like the little things, like the really little things. There's so many of them that I could tell you, but there's so many like little nuances that are like you learn something every single time. Every single time you're like, oh yeah, I shouldn't probably put 2 pipes together. You know what I mean? Like, okay, one thing that um will save you so much time and annoyance is don't put your pipes right next to each other. Leave one space in between them. You know what I mean? If you're doing parallels, you have 2 parallel pipes, because later on you will definitely want to go across.
And you can't if there's you can't do the sort of like
2,
crossover bridge thing if there's 2 in the way. I get what you mean.
Yeah, so like
The whole
I would put like this whole like cooling system together, and then I have these 2 pipes beside each other, and then I have to like every time I want to cross it, I have to like add
make a
a
U-bend.
piece. You know what I mean? To like make a bend in it, and then put another. Yes, and then it just becomes so disgusting.
Becomes like a headache to have to keep doing every time, right? So you're saving yourself like future maintenance by doing it planned out.
It becomes just monstrous. Things just become monstrously complicated to where, like, a lot of my playthroughs that I ended was just because I was like, there's just too many problems. Like,
too many headaches. Too many spinning plates.
Too many headaches. Too many headaches. Like, yeah. I have to fix this system, which means I have to fix that system, which means I have to change this. Which like, there's
I guess
the list just goes on and on and on.
The analogy I would use is based on what you've told me and what I've seen. It seems like it's a spinning plate problem, but in this game, you're like building automated spinning plates so that the spinning plates spin themselves. You don't have to worry about it, but you have to set up the spinning plates correctly the first time so they keep spinning. You have to keep spinning them yourself.
Yeah, and exactly, and like, yeah, if maybe the plate starts to like wobble, you can catch it, but if it falls, then like you have to there's like going to be a massive shift. Do you know what I mean? Like you have to do so much fixing, and you basically want to set it up. It can't be perfect. You know, it's never going to be perfect, but you want it to wobble as little as possible. You know what I mean? So it takes as little attention as possible to like keep it going.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So and then we didn't even talk about like the shipping. Like shipping is like a whole nother thing. It's crazy. Like you can set up so that like hard materials can be sent by like shipping, like a conveyor belt. You can set up conveyor belts to take things. So there's like all these setups online. Like people have their like hatch setup so that the hatches can only move in like a tiny little space, and all of their eggs drop in that one area, and then the conveyor belt picks up all the eggs and delivers them so that your dupes don't have to do anything. Kind of interesting. But they'll do setups like that. What I like to do is I will dig, you know, when you're like digging out a really big area outside of your base, everything, all the materials that you dig, collect at the bottom in like a huge pile. And those materials, if your dupes want to use them in your base, they have to put on a suit, run outside, pick it up, and then run back inside. And they'll only pick up what they're going to use, right? So you end up making huge amounts of trips to the outside to pick up just a little bit of raw resource and then take it back in. So what I do is I will set up, like, I decide where I'm going to dig, and then I'll dig like a long channel all the way down to collect a huge amount of resources right at the bottom, and then I set up a conveyor belt to bring everything back inside my base so that my duplicants don't have to go outside to pick up the raw resource. So all the raw resources end up inside the base. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's so many optimizations, there's so many problems, and then also every single run is different because every single run you have different resources, you have different geysers and like volcanoes and stuff like that, and
different
oil wells. Everything's different.
Yeah, different like late game taps you can utilize, so your builds are going to be different each time, I guess, and have different like specializations based on what you have available to you and whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, every single run is a unique snowflake. If you play on the normal, like the recommended first world, you'll always have hatches and you'll always have like a teleporter that takes you to an oil world. That's just always the case. So at least there's that similarity, but yeah, beyond that, there's so many differences. There's so many challenges.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to explain them all. There's so many different things going on. I haven't gone into even like growing plants. There's so many different types of plants that grow from different resources and different temperatures, different atmospheres. Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm interested to see like how the
here.
game ends up being like once I play it a bit more. But I kind of want to play it on survival mode, but I might play it on the easier world rather than the slightly harder world.
Yeah, if you play on survival, your duplicants take more oxygen and they take more calories as well. There's like a bunch of different things that are just harder, just make it harder. And there's so much complexity going on that it's I feel like it's an unnecessary difficulty until like really late, until you're like really good. You know what I mean? Until you like really know what's going on and you really understand how to build. Yeah, I did like maybe like 8 runs or 9. You know, I've done almost every run. I think actually every run I've done has been on survival except for the latest one. Yeah, this latest one that I did is not on survival mode. I was like really determined to play on survival mode, and it just like I just kept dying.
Slowed you
I got
learning
pretty
the game
far.
down a bit.
Yeah, I got all the way to where I'm at now, like with the second biome, like the oil one, but I never got to the third one, and because I never got spaceships online, like I never got my rockets out and flying around because it was just a little bit too difficult to balance everything and get the rockets rolling as well. Maybe I could do it now, but I definitely needed the practice.
Well, I'm curious to see how you think of survival now that you've learned what you've learned. Like just to go back and like compare your progress to now.
Yeah, maybe I will in the future. I do want to get like I want to get to the late game. You know what I mean? I don't feel like I've
Super late
actually
game.
gotten fully into the late game. Like I have like I have the most basic rocket, but there's so many different rockets that you can build. And I don't have the full tech tree yet. Like I'm kind of stalled out on building up my tech because I've run out of data banks, which is what you need in the late game to continue research.
So do you feel like you're more mid to late game than you still got a way to go?
Yeah, I've still got a way to go, actually, I think.
Okay. Wonder how deep the
Surprisingly,
game does
there's
go.
a whole lot. Still a lot to go. Pretty ridiculous.
Anyway, man, well, we had a good
Kinda
cast.
crazy. Yeah, you did, I think.
Yeah.
And we should have a pretty sick, whatever grand finals. What's it called? Playoffs. Playoffs
Yeah.
should be pretty sweet.
Yeah, playoffs looking good. Great teams.
Great teams, and it's round robin format, so we get a whole bunch of extra games.
Nice. Well, so yeah, we'll say Monday, as in Monday my time, Tuesday morning your time. We'll say that as a default, and then I'll get in touch with you if I need to change that. But I might be able to do it for fine. Should be fine.
All right, sounds good, man.
Okay.
You have a good night, hey?
Yeah, you have a good day, Massa, and good luck with the edit.
All right, talk to you later.
All right, Sam. Talk to you
Bye.
later, buddy. Bye-bye. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning into the stream. Appreciate you guys. Hopefully be seeing you all again very, very soon. Catch you on the flip side. Have a nice day, evening, whatever it is for you guys, time zone. Peace.